Head into the unknown, down the rabbit hole, where it stops no one knows. We're going head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hello, everybody. So first thing, I want to say hi to everybody. But second, I have a new setup, so I need to make sure that I sound okay to you guys. So let me know how the sound is on your end before we go any further so I can fix it before it's an issue. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Marshall, Amanda, Aries, Princess Megan, RAS. Hi, Maria. Shebonai. It sounds great. Okay, perfect. Okay, because you know I set all this stuff up and then I really haven't gone anywhere to test it. So I'm like, you know what? Who better to test it on than you guys, right? Hi, Dina. Hi, Kentucky Lee. Hi, Delana. Hi, Steffi. Hi, Misty. Hi, Merp. Simply E. True Crime Crazy. Okay, thanks, Dina. Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you, Merp. Yeah, this is all new, so you guys are gonna have to bear with me because now I have this beautiful fancy computer that has a lot of stuff, and so I'm like, okay, I can do this, right? Yeah, I can totally do this. So I have tons of stuff up and ready to share with you guys. It has been an absolutely crazy morning. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around all the details, and I know that 50 bazillion channels have read through this, looked at it, talked about it. Hi, Chantel. Hi, Delaney. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Sandy. It seems like you are more clear. Oh, perfect. Okay, that's actually good. Hi, Melmac. But I'm like, I have to read through this myself. I've read it. I've had it read to me. I'm like, I have to read more of it. I have to put some visuals with it. So I've got some pictures. I've got some maps. I've got some 3D stuff. I want to listen to the court hearing. I have not listened to that yet, so that'll be my first time with you guys. I'm just like, there's just so much. This is so much. I'm going to give you guys a little warning. Like, I'm a little upset with some of the details that came out in this affidavit. If you guys haven't heard it, you're going to know why. And if you have, you probably already know why. The whole thing is kind of frustrating. Leather and Lacey, I can drop it. I'll drop it for you. Hold on one second. I need to just probably pin it, but... Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, so that's the iPhone link. Delaney, you just watched it. Same here. Case is confusing. I'm madder now than I was before. Yeah, I'm a little upset. It sounds so emotionless in the hearing. Okay, I haven't watched that yet, so we'll watch that together. But I don't know. I'm just like, there's a lot of shaking my head. I'm shaking my head a lot. We have a witness. People will have to face it now who have been saying it are right. LEO literally has a license to lie to us, and they do so. Yep. They sure do. Well, I think we all kind of knew that going in, but I think some of the information, well, I think they definitely could not say that they had a witness. And I totally understand why they could not say that. They cannot say they have a witness and leave that person out there in the wind with this guy who's, still free. So that's obviously to protect her. Totally understand that. Hi, Jeannie. Yep, right about Dylan's room. Isn't that interesting? So I've got some pictures of her room up too, so I can show you guys that. Yeah, they try to make it seem like the roommates were downstairs, but I'm telling you, I don't think they ever said that. I think we as a public and mainstream media actually said that. Yes, why didn't Dylan call 911? I think she's going to be asking herself that question for the rest of her life, and rightfully so. Thank you, Leather and Lace, for joining. I appreciate it very much. Dylan saw the killer. Yeah, that's what it says. All right, so we're going to buckle down. Thank you guys all for being here. Like I said, I know a lot of people have already listened to it, read it themselves. Oh, Shay, you're so cute. Thank you. But for me, I'm a little obsessive when it comes to things like this. I have to read it multiple times. Mallory and Shay were being very kind, and they were reading it to me, so I hear it in different forms. I know Jen Lou went and did a read through. And so I'm listening to it, I'm reading it myself, and then I'm like, I want to talk about it like in sections with you guys and put some visuals to it. So that's kind of just how my brain works. And we can see what it would look like from some of these perspectives, on maps or in this, 3D and things like that. And the killer saw Dylan too. It's super scary. Hi, Jen Lou. Thank you for doing the read through, by the way. Hi, S. Hockett. Hi, Sassy Sleuthing. Okay. So we'll start out. We'll go through and we'll watch the hearing first. Let's do that first. We'll watch the hearing first, and then we can go through some of the affidavit with some of the visuals. Why didn't he kill everybody in the house? I will tell you my opinion on that. And it's simply because if he did see them and did know they were there, I think it's because they want to have a survivor that person now has to live knowing they were spared. It's a mental thing, and obviously everything this man did, in my opinion, was a mental game, and he wanted people to know that he could have killed them, and he didn't. And that's my opinion. Yeah, it's a busy day for everybody. Work, sleuth, and true crime. And then rinse, cycle, repeat. I think he also wanted to frame them. Possible, but I don't know. I don't know if he actually I just think that he liked the torment. I think that was the whole point. Hi, NorCal Jim. Hi, Sky. I know there's just so much. Hi, allegedly. Hi, Andy Kane. This might sound fucked up, but do you all think it wasn't pretty white college girls that this case wouldn't get so much attention? I don't know. I think that the intrigue around the situation, for me, I don't think it would have mattered about race, possibly mainstream media, maybe. But I actually think it's the intrigue around this entire situation that I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, if they were pretty young black girls, I think it would have been the same thing. I think it's just a scary situation with a lot of unanswered questions, and I think that's where the intrigue came from. But you might be right. I'd hate to say that, but you might be right. I miss Italy D. Hi, Cement Shoes. Hi, Joe. He could have been injured and wanting to get out of there, not to spread his own blood. That's very possible. He could have been injured at that point and wanted to leave. Britta's coming back later tonight, but not for a long life. She's tired. I think Valerie Knox may come out of quarantine to grace us with her sweet voice this evening. I think so. Hi, Amanda. In my opinion, they're connected somehow. It wasn't a coincidence, I don't think. Well, I don't think it was a coincidence. I do think that he was following them. He targeted them. do I think that Brian will torment further in the trial? Like torment the girls or torment like the families? I mean, I think they're all pretty tormented at this point. So I would be surprised if he just lays down and takes it. I think he's going to stay clammed up for quite a while. That's my opinion. Did Dylan leave her phone out in the main area, hence why she didn't call? Well, okay, once the guy left, she could have gone out there and gotten it. The call till the next morning is kind of crazy still to me. He didn't know if Dylan had phoned the cops, but which she didn't. Hi, Angelina. AT and chat, going to listen while cooking. Crazy info release. Oh, yeah, super crazy. Okay, all right, let's play this. Let me get this going real quick, and then, as like I said, I haven't listened to this hearing, so let's do that first. This is new for me. Is there no sound? There it is. Can you guys hear that okay? I mean, they're not really doing anything yet.
All right.
Please be seated. We're on the record in the Second Judicial District, Latah County. This is the Magistrate's Division of District Court. This is State of Idaho versus Brian C. Kohlberger, cause number CR 29222805. Mr. Kohlberger is present in court. He is in custody. He is appearing with his attorney, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for initial appearance. Mr. Kohlberger, I am going to advise you of the rights that you have in this case. I am going to go over the criminal complaint with you, and then we're going to discuss setting the matter for further hearing. You have the following rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to the presumption of innocence. That means the state bears the burden to prove that you are guilty of this offense beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is a probable cause hearing. At that hearing, the state must establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. You have a right to have that hearing within 14 days if you remain in custody. If you are bound over at that preliminary hearing to district court, if the court finds probable cause, you would be bound over to district court. And at that time, you can enter a plea of not guilty, and you can have a jury trial set within 6 months of your appearance in district court. At both your preliminary hearing and your jury trial, you have the right to confront and question any evidence or witnesses called against you. Call witnesses on your own behalf and compel witnesses to be present and testify at the state's expense. You have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, one could be appointed to represent you based upon your financial needs. You also have the right to appeal any conviction in your case. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
I am now going to go over the criminal complaint with you. Count 1 of the criminal complaint charges you with the felony offense of burglary. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohlberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder in violation of Idaho Code 18-1401 and 1403. The maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is not less than 1 year in prison, no more than 10 years in prison, and or a $50,000 fine or both. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 2 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Kohlberger, on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. The maximum penalty for this offense, if you were to plead guilty or be found guilty, is death or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 3 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Koberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Gonsalves, a human being, by stabbing Kaylee Gonsalves, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Count 4 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Koberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing Xana Kernodle, from which she died, in violation of Idaho Code 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Again, the maximum penalty for that offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and or imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, for fair use, law and crime, I don't want them coming at me for just playing it all the way through. So I'll pause it for a second. But basically, she's just obviously reading his charges, very, very straightforward, very matter of the fact. Some say that he seems worried or a little scared. Oh, Mel, Shay, thank you guys for helping out. I appreciate it. He doesn't, I don't know. I don't feel a lot of emotion from this guy at all. I don't think that he is scared. I don't think that he's anything. I think that he's, my personal opinion, and you guys take this for what you want, I think he's enjoying the process. I think he's enjoying yes, I do. I think he's enjoying being on this side of it so he can learn, and he is absorbing all the details and the notoriety and the attention. I really do. And I do, after like this is done and things are kind of, obviously the focus, and I hate to say it, the focus is on him right this second because of all of this. But I do, before, when things kind of settle down with this side of it, with the affidavit and whatnot, I want to do something with the girls and Ethan. I think that that's majorly important, that we do not forget why this is important, and not that anybody has, but I just want to make sure we bring the focus back to them, because this guy's a piece of shit. And I get it. I get the whole constitutional right. This man is innocent until proven guilty. I get it, but I'm going to tell you right now, this guy's a piece of shit. That's my opinion. You can get mad at me and say that I don't believe in well, okay, let me just put it to you this way. I believe in our justice system, but I also believe it is flawed. And I also believe that Casey Anthony is guilty, even though she was found not guilty by a jury of her peers. And so I will, in my opinion, say this guy's a piece of shit, and I don't want to focus on him more than necessary. But obviously, this is where we're at right now in this process. So, but just don't forget why we're here. I say he's guilty until proven innocent. And in mainstream media, in society, yes, he is, but he's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying this that he's going to exonerate himself crap. I think he is enjoying the process. He did it for the experience, as sick as that sounds. So, okay, we'll go back to it. But that's my opinion. And it's okay. If you guys don't agree, I'm totally okay with you guys not agreeing with me. And maybe it's just my emotions because I'm a little irritated and I'm a little pissed. Hi, Allie. And then I go, hi, Allie. So, All right, we'll keep going.
Count 5 alleges that you committed the felony offense of murder in the first degree. It alleges that the defendant, Brian C. Koberger, on or about November 13th of 2022 in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died, in violation of Idaho Codes 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. And again, the maximum penalty for this offense, if you plead guilty or are found guilty, is up to death and imprisonment for life. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Mr. Koberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Court has reviewed your application for attorney at public expense. I do find that you are indigent and do qualify for court-appointed counsel. I will appoint Ms. Taylor to represent you in this case. Ms. Taylor, have you had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Koberger about speedy preliminary hearing and setting this matter?
Your Honor, I have. We would ask the court to set the status hearing in a week or two to make a final determination.
Okay. And Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, are you in agreement with that?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll pause it again real quick. So you guys can tell she's literally she's reading something. So this is all straight in front of her. So she's reading it like verbatim, like this is exactly how it is. And so he's obviously already applied. He'd gotten his, a lot of people were asking, like, how did he already get a public defender in Idaho when he was in Pennsylvania? He's already qualified as indigent. So the application's already been submitted and they just got the ball rolling in Idaho. That's really all it is. He doesn't have to actually go to Idaho before he can get one, but now it's on record in the court. So there's a big difference between things that are happening on legal paperwork in the background versus what's actually happening in court on record. And you'll hear that a lot if you watch trials like this. Okay, this is going to be on record, this is going to be off record. Hi, Jax. So I think that it's important to know that he already qualified as indigent. So he already had his public defender in Pennsylvania, and he already had a public defender in Idaho because he'd already applied. So it didn't matter whether he was there, wherever he was already qualified. So just, I know people get confused because it's like, how did he already have her? But the court was already ready. The court was ready for him to be there because for him to be extradited, all they literally had to do was prove that he was who they said he was. They didn't have to prove he was guilty. They didn't have to do any of this stuff with the probable cause. All they had to do was prove that he was the person that was on that arrest warrant. That's all they had to do. So he waives it because obviously he is that person that's on there. It makes sense. So we look at like things like a Lori Vallow Daybell who decided she was going to fight it. That's just because she wants to be a little pain in the ass, but that's different. That's it. It was very simple. So he's like, okay, yeah, I am who they say I am. I am this person who's on this documentation. So yeah, let's just go and get it done. It would have postponed it maybe a couple of weeks or even a month, but it would have been very easy to prove to a judge in Pennsylvania he was who he said he was. So all of that court process was already started. Once the arrest warrant was issued by the judge in Idaho, this ball was rolling. Okay, we'll go back to playing it. Just wanted to kind of clarify that. So when she says stuff like that, she's literally just reading it verbatim on how the court has to say it for the record of the court. Hi, LFT. Okay, we'll go back.
I will go ahead and set this matter for a status hearing then on the calendar on January 12th at 10:00 a.m. we will make sure notice is sent. And then, Ms. Taylor, do you wish to argue bail at this time?
Your Honor, I would like to ask the court to consider setting a bond. Mr. Koberger right now is on a no bond hold, but it's a limited request as I don't have enough information. We are new to the case. We haven't reviewed very much in the way of information about the case, and we have just done our own work on the case. But we would want the court to know that Mr. Koberger has a good family that stands by him.
And Mr. Thompson?
The state's position is that Mr. Koberger is not entitled to bond in this case. We can take charges as is noted on the arrest warrant itself. Under Code 19-816, 19-2903 both specify that given the potential penalties in this case, there's no right to bail. Defendant was arrested 3,000 miles away across the country, where his family is. We ask that he remain in custody. No bail.
At this point in time, pursuant to Idaho Criminal 46B and Idaho Code 19-816 and 2903, I am going to leave the bail set at this case as no bail at this point in time until I have additional or further information at a later date and time. So with that, then Mr. Koberger, you will be remanded in custody and remain in custody on the no bail pending further proceedings in this matter. Is there anything further in the case then for today, Mr. Thompson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is asking for no contact orders for various family members of the deceased and also for surviving roommates. I've spoken briefly with Ms. Taylor. She indicated there's no objection.
And Ms. Taylor, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So I will go ahead and issue those no contact orders. So I do have a no contact order then for the named individual of Dylan Mortensen, Bethany Funk, as well as the family members and Mr. Chapin, the family members of Ms. Kernodle, it's Mr. and Ms. Laramie, Mr. Mogan, Ms. Cheeley, and then a number of members of the Gonsalves family. Those specific names will certainly be provided to you, Mr. Koberger, by way of being provided notice of these documents. You'll get a copy of these no contact orders. What you do need to be advised of and what will be in this no contact order is you are prohibited from having any contact with them whatsoever. You cannot contact them through a third person in writing or by any electronic means. You cannot Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, use the phone to communicate with them or otherwise any form of communication in direct or indirectly with them. You cannot engage in any conduct that would harass, stalk, threaten, use, attempt to use, or threaten to use any physical force or violence upon them or place them in reasonable fear of bodily injury. Cannot go within or knowingly remain within 300 feet of their person or their home, workplace, or any other place where they might be. There are no exceptions to these orders. And if you do violate these orders, it is a new misdemeanor offense. It is punishable by up to a year in jail and or a $1,000 fine or both. At this point in time, due to being in the magistrate's division here, at this juncture, I am going to issue the no contact orders for a period of 2 years. And then if it needs to be modified or changed by additional judge, it can be done so at that time. Is there anything further, Mr. Thompson?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned.
Okay, so he got no contact orders for basically everybody in the families and the roommates, from my understanding. Then, right? Is that what you guys heard too? Is the sound was a little bit light on the edge of the prosecutor. He wasn't really speaking into the microphone. So, but basically, he can't contact anybody via any type of social media or phone calls or written or anything along those lines. Okay, Shay, no problem. Be careful driving. But no, I mean, be interesting if you wanted to be contacting them, but that ain't gonna matter. So I don't know, this guy. So that was basically, it was very factual. It was, here's your charges, here's what you're up against, you get no bond, and stay away from anybody that's connected to this. No contact for 2 years. I wonder why only 2 years. That's probably just what they had. Like, it's probably just on there, like their record, and then after that, as weird as it is, a lot of people later on want to talk to the person who did this. They have closure for themselves. It's I don't know. You never know. Dukes, I may be horrid, but if proven guilty, I think instead of living years in prison, he should be turned over to the family and let them deal with them like he did those poor kids. The only problem with that, though, really is that they have to live with what they did. And I don't know, most people don't want to do that. And I'm hoping that the court system, he's got death penalty on the table. This is not, he's facing the hardship. And if you guys want me to play it, I can pull it up. But Christy and Steve Gonsalves, they did an interview, and they said that they want him to have the death penalty. It's just that he can't. Yeah. I would be surprised. Did you guys see, I didn't pull it up. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. I thought this was really interesting. Let me find it for you. Hold on. You guys have probably seen it by now, but I still want to show it. If I remember where the heck I put it. It's the article that his mom wrote about Ted Bundy. Am I not going to be able to pull it up now? My computer doesn't want to go. Come on. Let me see if I can get it in this one. No. Darn it. Oh, hold on. I'll just do it again. Because I wanted to show you guys that. Thank you, Mel. I thought this was really interesting. Just an interesting perspective. Knowing now, her now knowing what her son did. No, Kentucky, I haven't done the affidavit yet. No, I'm gonna do it just a second. Yep. So this is an article that his mom wrote. It says, perhaps one of the saddest commentaries on mankind was evident during the execution of Theodore Bundy. While no sane, compassionate individual would excuse the atrocities committed by this man, neither would any sane individual applaud the passing of his funeral hearse. What have we become? Is the taking of a human life acceptable when the state takes responsibility for it? I thought that was very interesting. Ted Bundy, when he was executed, they cheered. He was one of the most, he was one that had the most people attend his execution that didn't actually have anything to do with the crimes. Like the people who actually came there and watched. Hi, ATS. So now, like, in perspective of like that she now knows or there's a potential to what her son has done. And a lot of people are comparing him. He kind of actually looks like Ted Bundy in a way with those hollow eyes. But hi, C-Dub. Yeah, so people were applauding the hearse as it drove by with Ted Bundy's body in it. And sorry to tell his mom, but I think that people will probably do the same for her child. And that makes me sad for her, but wow. If he's found guilty, we can call him BPOS killer. Okay, so here's the thing. People are starting to call him BCK, and it actually kind of bothers me. Because I feel like they're trying to give him the notoriety of like a BTK. One BTK is not Dennis Rader's initials. It's how he actually killed people, bind, torture, kill. And I don't think that we should be giving him. I don't think we should be doing anything calling him BCK. I think it's going to give him a name that he doesn't really deserve, in my opinion. Laney said, I was at a nightclub with a bunch of, oh shoot, I missed it. I was at a nightclub with a bunch of friends the night Bundy was put to death. They had it on the TVs, people partying around it. Yeah, that's crazy. It's too close to your username. I agree. We've got to cut that out. People can't be doing that. It's too close. You agree it bothers you? Yeah, so I won't. He's Brian or he's BK. I mean, he's not getting the 3 initials that he wants, in my opinion. POS, that might be his 3 initials. That's a good one. Hi, Val. Yeah, he deserves 0 type of fame. So yeah, I won't be referring to him as BCK. Obviously, I'm not going to like kick people out if they do, but I'm just saying I think it's going to give him exactly what he wants. If he starts seeing flipping headlines with something like that, I think he's going to eat it up. Call him Buddy or Doofus. Buddy. Hey, Buddy. Yeah, Chris Watts stole your initials. I know he did. He'll have a cheesy name soon. All right, so I just thought that was an interesting thing from his mom. Okay, let's get up the affidavit and we can go through that. And we'll probably go through it a little slowly just because I want to make sure we cover everything, and then I have some stuff I want to show you guys along the way as well. Dun-dun-dun. Let's see. Actually, that my computer screen is so big now. Everything's like super clear. It's kind of weird. And I was sitting around like on it last night, like watching people on YouTube. I was like, I'm gonna have to do this, and it's way better than watching it on my phone. Okay. Can you guys actually see that, or can I just see it because it's so big? If you guys can't see it, I probably need to save it and then show it. Tell me if you guys can see it. Hi, Jay Warren. I can't see it. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second then. We'll just talk for a second. I'll save it and do it that way instead. Let me see if you guys can see it this way first. All right, tell me if that's any better. This old lady can't see shit. That's how I always felt on my laptop. I always felt like my face was like right next to the camera because I was like trying to get up in there and read it. This should be better. Okay, so put a 1 in chat if you guys have read this or listened to somebody read it. Put a 2 in chat if this is your first time hearing it. So 1, if you've already heard it or read it yourself, and 2, if this is your first time. Oh, Chris, you just listening to me read it with my beautiful voice? Okay, so that's what I figured. I figured most people have seen it, but okay, Jay Weezy. There was an ad? The question was, have you seen it or read it? If you have, put a 1. And if you haven't, this is your first time seeing it or hearing it, put a 2. Okay, Sky, good, okay. Most of it. So you guys are a lot like me then. Like I need to do it multiple times. Like this won't even be the last time I go through it or listen to somebody else go through it, because I want to absorb every detail of it and like get it in my memory bank. Oh yeah, you're gonna definitely hear it again because I want to read it, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I just wanted to see how many of you were like me, that because I've heard it and I've read it, but I want to do it again. I know it's a weird thing. It's just how my brain processes. Okay. So this is mostly from, if you guys remember Brett Payne, he's the one that the Gonsalveses brought forward and said, hey, he's only had a couple years on the job. We think he might be inexperienced. We want more information than, on him and his work history, blah, blah, blah. He's also one of the officers who was on that body cam footage for one of the noise complaints that I was on Truth and Transparency's channel. So this is like his perspective. This is his statement. So you have to take it as such. Obviously, there's other officers that were there and other officers who have written statements, but he was the lead investigator. So it's his perspective that gives the probable cause for his arrest. The other thing is you have to take into consideration that in the probable cause, they do not have to include everything. They just have to include enough to show that, hold on, Twitter, Brian Enton has SG speaking after court. Did he end up speaking? Because I heard his attorney's statement. Did Steve end up speaking? So I'll look at that just a second. So probable cause, they just have to put enough in there for the court to say, yes, there is probable cause to believe this person, who we now have determined is, Brian Kohberger, is the person that committed these crimes. They do not have to lay out all of their evidence. So what we see here is a very small portion of what they actually have. You have to make sure you keep that in your mind because they have more than what we even see. Yeah, there's just so much information. And this is 19 pages long, you guys. Like, they weren't joking around. So, oh, thanks, C. Jordan. I appreciate that. Just got done with my college education. It's very thought. Yeah, hi, BR. Hi, Shmita. Does anyone here live in Washington? I don't. I live in California. NorCal Jim. Hi, Kim. Thank you. Totally a side thought, but I'm curious whether his professors are shook to the core. They are experts on criminals and somehow miss this, the guy working right beside them. Well, they're probably shocked is what I'm going to say. Here's the thing. No matter how much you study things like this, you're not typically an expert on profiling a situation beforehand. You may have weird vibes like other people, kind of gut instinct stuff, but they typically have studied crime in a way of, besides his one professor, Catherine Ramsland. Yeah, I think she's probably got the most insight, which she's not speaking. But I think some of the other ones, like speaking from experience, like my professors, I had one that was, a public defender, and he was teaching us like just criminal law. He's not out there like, profiling people. I think that as he went through the system, he was very intelligent. And then, here, not all, this is going to sound, not all weird, odd people are going to go out and do something like this. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't know if they would have even been, and the human mind doesn't want to think that the person that you know is capable of something like that. Yeah, she could be called as a witness. Absolutely. For some who say public defenders never win, that's crap. They do. Public defenders can be some of the best attorneys. There's a very, I think I talked about this on my last live. There's a misconception that public defenders are like bottom barrel attorneys because they can't get a job at a law firm. And it's just not accurate. Some people choose to be public defenders. And in her position, I can guarantee you that woman is making some good money. Yeah, our brains don't work that way. I agree. Like you just don't want to wrap your mind around that somebody did that. Oh yeah, we got 2,000 pages in the Watts with redactions, and that didn't even go to trial. That nothing. They weren't even done investigating it, according to Tammy. And if you guys, speaking of Watts, if you guys haven't watched ATS News, she has a 3-hour documentary. It is a badass documentary on the Watts case. If you guys aren't familiar with Watts, it's a good intro to the case. If you are familiar with Watts, it's a good refresher on some of the things and the little details that you may have missed when covering the case. It's an amazing, and I'm not a big fan of the Watts case anymore. Like, it literally kind of makes me want to go, ugh. But I'm telling you, it's totally worth the watch. ATS News. If he wins, we're screwed. Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're going to have a lot in their pocket, and I'm going to tell you, this is my, no, you do not, girl. You are an amazing researcher. In this case, if this goes to trial, this case is going to come down to experts. It's going to come down to experts and who the jury believes is correct. That's what this is going to be. You're going to get, experts on the prosecution side, experts on that side. The public defender already has a team out there doing a reconstruction of the crime scene. And somebody asked me this the other day, and I'll go ahead and say this too. They had the cleaners go in, and the cleaners had started. The cleaners had started to remove some of the items, right? And then the court called and said, "Hey, stop! It's done." And they're like, "Well, would they be in trouble for, like, quote unquote tampering with a crime scene or anything like that?" And no, they wouldn't, because if you think about, in the reality of crime scenes, most crime scenes actually don't even exist anymore or are gone by the time anything goes to trial. So there are situations where they will, like, preserve the crime scene until trial, but that's not always true. Emily D. Baker said the same thing. This doesn't have all the evidence, and she's amazed how much they already have, or they have. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with, and I admire her. I think she's amazing. If you guys don't listen to her, she's one smart cookie. But I don't even know what I was saying now. Totally lost that. Yeah, I love CDT and ATS News. They're two of my favorites. I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, about the crime scene. No, that it is not. It is not tampered with. It would not do anything. They preserve all of that in the evidence that's collected in photographs. In now a lot of times they do video footage of the entire crime scene. We're going to hear even in here that this officer himself was wearing body cam, so he has that all on camera. So they can actually recreate a lot of the crime scene stuff based on that. Obviously, because they had just started, it was beneficial for them to stop and give it to the defense team, because now there was a defense team that if the arrest happened a week later, the defense would have been just fine, because they would have had enough to be able to do it. It's just better for them. So nobody's going to get in trouble for, like, crime scene cleaners going in there or anything like that. That's not going to happen. Yeah, they'll do scans of the whole place. There's so much with technology now that they can measure it all out. They would draw it out, even like with measurements and whatnot, and you would be able to see exactly how far, like, this blood stain was from this wall, was from this door frame. I mean, everything is measured. Everything is very meticulous. BR, you should have seen the comments in court TV saying he's innocent and saying Dylan was involved. I don't think Dylan's involved. I really don't. I am a little frustrated, and I know that she's going to have a lot to live with in her life, and so I don't want to put too much more out on Dylan than she's already going to have. But what I'm saying is I have some frustrations with the situation. Do I hate her? Obviously, no, I don't know her, but I do not think she's involved. I do not think she like set this up or anything. I don't. Okay, let's go through it. So, because it's a lot. Let me find it again. I don't even know where I lost it somewhere in these computers. Okay, here we go. So this is the below information is provided by Brett Payne, who we were talking about, who is duly appointed, qualified, and acting peace officer with the County of Latah State of Idaho. Brett Payne is employed by Moscow Police in the official capacity, and has been trained and qualified peace officer for approximately 4 years. There you go. That's interesting. They give a little history on him. CPL Payne is being assisted by members of the Idaho State Police and agents of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. On November 13th. Okay, and I'll tell you guys, there's some details in here. So if you do have a little bit of a queasy stomach, you probably don't want to listen to everything. So on November 13th, 2022, at approximately 4 p.m. Moscow Police Department, Sergeant Blaker and I responded to 1122 King Road, Moscow, Idaho, hereafter the King Road residence, to assist with the scene security and processing of a crime scene associated with 4 homicides. Upon our arrival, the Idaho State Police forensic team was on scene and was preparing to begin processing the scene. MPD Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk me through the scene. So remember, like I said, this is from Payne's perspective. So Payne got there at 4 p.m. That does not mean that other people were not already there. I just want to put that out there because people are like, wait a minute, they didn't get there till 4. No, he's even saying that Officer Smith, one of the initial responding officers to the incident, advised he would walk him through the scene. So this is when Payne got there. Just make sure we see that. Let me go back over here and make sure you guys are. Yeah, that's it. It is. I know. And I hate to say trigger warning. I know that's kind of the thing, but I mean, we are kind of here for true crime. Hi, K-Wiz. The surviving kids have a lot to deal with now. They're not responsible for this horrific crime and should be left alone. I do agree. I like I said, I do have some frustrations with the situation, but I hold no ill will. I don't want anything to happen to them. Okay. Yeah, every true crime is triggered. So I don't know. I mean, I think we'll probably just say that on everything, but okay. Officer Smith and I entered the King Road residence through the bottom floor door on the north side of the building. So that's the white door with the wreath on it. Officer Smith and I then walked upstairs to the second floor. Officer Smith directed me down the hallway to the west bedroom on the second floor. This would be Xana's bedroom, which I later learned with her driver's license and her personal belongings was Xana Kernodle's, hereafter Kernodle's room. Just before this room, there was a bathroom door on the south wall of the hallway. As I approached the room, I could see a body, later identified as Kernodle's, laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. That's interesting to me. Hi, Twisted Gemini. Okay, so I wonder how I can do that. There's got to be a way to do that. I'm going to have to figure that out, or I can show you 2 screens at the same time. Because I want to show you as we go through this. Let's see if I can bring it up. You guys can kind of see exactly where he's talking about. So as you know, like that's the downstairs, that's the front door. So the officers come in and they're going this direction towards the bedroom, which this would be the bathroom. And then they're going towards the bedroom, which is where they find Xana laying on the floor. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, it took me to the wall. So that would be her bedroom. Yeah, so this is like a 3D image of the house. So this is, yeah, this is like we'll walk through. You can walk through the house. Okay, so I'm gonna finish reading this while but I'm gonna leave this up on the screen real quick. So, I could see a body later identified as Kernodle laying on the floor. Kernodle was deceased with wounds which appeared to have been caused by an edged weapon. Also in the room was a male, later identified as Ethan Chapin, hereafter Chapin. Chapin was also deceased with wounds later determined by the autopsy report provided by Spokane. This is redacted right here, but if you notice, oh, you guys can't see this part now. Shit. See, this is why I want to be able to share. How do I share two? I'm going to have to play around with that. Dang it, I wanted to be able to show you both. Okay, so this shows redacted and then it's flipped like a blank page here. I cannot confirm that there would be a picture here, but there's possible, or it just got copied in a really weird way because this is like backwards in the exact same way that this one is. So I know, and it doesn't have a page number. So I find that very interesting. Okay, so do you guys, okay, I'll ask you guys, do you prefer to see the walkthrough or do you want to do them separate? So that whatever's easier for you guys. It's copied because of the redaction. Yeah, that's what I think too. But it's up to you. If you want me to go back and forth, or do you want me to show you guys the 3D and then read to you? Whatever, do the walkthrough. Let me see what you guys think. I'll take a drink of the Dr. Pepper. Okay, we'll do the walkthrough a little bit then, and then here I'll read this next part, and then we'll go back to the walkthrough. And one day I'll learn how to be able to do both. I'm working on it, I promise. So let me go back over here to the walkthrough. I'm going to read this part, and then I'll go back to the walkthrough, and then we'll go back and forth a little bit. Okay, so I then followed Officer Smith upstairs to the third floor of the residence. The third floor consisted of 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The bedroom on the west side of the floor was later determined to be Kaylee Gonsalves's, hereafter Gonsalves's room. I later learned from a review of Officer Nunez's body cam, there was a dog in the room when Moscow police officers initially responded. So Murphy was in her room. The dog belonged to Gonsalves and her ex-boyfriend, Jack DeCoeur. I found out from my interview with Jack DeCoeur on November 13th, they talked to him that day, that he and Gonsalves shared the dog. Officer Smith then pointed out a small bathroom on the east side of the 3rd floor. This bathroom shared a wall with Madison Mogan's, hereafter Mogan, bedroom, which was situated on the southeast corner of the 3rd floor. Okay, so as I entered this bedroom, I could see 2 females in the single bed in the room. Both Gonsalves and Mogan were deceased with visible stab wounds. So here's an interesting thing that we were talking about earlier when I was talking with Mal, is on Xana's it says caused by an edged weapon, and then on Ethan's sharp force injuries, and then on theirs it's just visible stab wounds. I'm not sure why the descriptors are completely different for all the situations. I thought that was interesting. I also later noticed what appeared to be a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to Mogan's right side when viewed from the door. The sheath was later processed and had Kabar USMC and the United States Marine Corps Eagle Globe and anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. The Idaho State Lab later located a single source of male DNA, suspect profile, left on the button snap of the knife sheath. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at now going up the stairs. Okay, so we're back in Xana's room. Oh, go back to the family room. So this would be going straight up the stairs, and as we assumed from the beginning, but now is confirmed, this bedroom right here was actually Dylan's. So let's go upstairs. So this is Kaylee's room, and Murphy would have been in here. You could see through the window. You can see through the window, the sliding doors, that's where you could see her bed was kind of unmade right here. And then her good vibes sign was hanging. So there's the bathroom that connects to Maddie's room. So now we're in Maddie's room. This is the window that's actually faces the balcony. And you could see her cowboy boots through this window. You could see the M in her room. And they were both in here. Pretty sad. Let me see. Hi, Queen. Is the DNA blood, saliva, or skin cells? Great question. I'm going to go with skin cells, is my personal opinion, if it's on the button where it snaps the sheath closed, but they don't actually specify. Let's see who else. Let's see what else. Guess he made a mistake. So this is the big question. Did he leave the sheath on purpose, or was it an accident and he didn't mean to? It seems possible that he used two different weapons, but isn't it interesting that in the coroner's interview, she does not believe that he used two different weapons. She believed it was the same weapon, and if it was two weapons, they were the same type of weapon. They matched the DNA to the suspect. Yes. Casey. Wondering if MK were first and damaged the knife, so when he got to Xana and he made different wounds and more of a struggle noise. Possible. I'm just going to subtitle my channel trigger warning, so if anyone complains, I can say you've been warned 24/7. I mean, it's tough because it is, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes people like they can listen to the story, but they don't like the details. You think he left it on purpose, Mellow77? Did he intend to kill one? That's a great question, too. Somebody thinks it was an accident. Twisted Gemini says he left it on accident. It may have been the reason he went back the next morning. Is this the best case scenario for DNA? Well, once again, like I said, as we go through this, you have to remember, they don't have to put everything they have in here because they don't want to give the defense all their information. They don't want to do that. They don't want them to have the time to be able to counteract everything that they have. Okay, so Jay says accident, Diane says accident, Anna says accident. Yeah, it's a pretty small room. It's where the weapon was unsheathed. C-Dub, that's a great point. Accident, Dina says. Yeah, why take it at all? And why not make sure that you have everything that you brought with you? So and I put this on my TikTok, ironically, but there's something that's called Lockhardt's exchange principle. And it's pretty big in criminal justice. And it was mind-boggling to me on how this guy wouldn't have realized this. But the principle is basically that the perpetrator or the suspect is always going to leave something behind. When you go into a crime scene, and it's not even the crime scene. I mean, it could be anywhere. Anywhere you ever go, you're going to leave something. Whether it's your skin cells, whether it's your saliva, or whether it's a sheath, no matter what it is, something from you is going to be left there. And then something from there is going to be taken from there with you. So it's Lockhardt's exchange principle. It's very, I mean, that's like a common one in law enforcement or in criminal justice classes. This guy had to have known that. If you're going to think that you're able to go through all of this and commit this crime and get away with it, you would have to have an account of every single thing you're taking in there. You'd have to make sure that you are completely covered, where you're not leaving any of your body presence behind, DNA, saliva, blood, skin cells, trace DNA, anything, because the whole point is you're going to leave something. The question is whether police are going to find it. And he left a sheath behind. So, okay. You guys want to go around a little bit more up here, kind of see. There's the window that's in the hallway. You can see there's the pictures of the investigators like in this window, like looking out, looking across the band field that's over that way. There's your bathroom. This bathroom's actually in a couple TikToks. I think one's on Maddie's. So then there's her room and stairs. And then over here you have Kaylee's room. Okay. We can go back to we'll go back to reading. Like I said, I just wanted to try to give you guys some visuals as we go through this so you can kind of see what they were seeing. Okay, so as I entered the bedroom, I could see two females. I think we read that part, right? Yeah, left on the bottom. The button snap of the knife sheath. As part of the investigation, numerous interviews were conducted by Moscow Police Department officers, Idaho State Police detectives, and FBI agents. Two of the interviews included BF and DM. Well, we know that's Bethany and Dylan. Both BF and DM were inside the King Road residence at the time of the homicides and were roommates to the victims. BF's bedroom was located on the east side of the first floor of the King Road residence. So she was downstairs. The empty room that had the golf clubs was empty. Based on numerous interviews conducted by MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents, as well as my review of evidence, I have learned the following. On the evening of November 12th, most of this we kind of know, except for one little bit, but I'm still going to read it. On the evening of November 12th, 2022, Chapin and Kernodle are seen by Bethany at the Sigma Chi house on the University of Idaho campus at 735 Nez Pierce Drive from approximately 9 p.m. on November 12th to 1:45 a.m. on November 13th. Bethany also estimated that at approximately 1:45 a.m., Chapin and Kernodle returned to the King Road residence. Bethany also stated that Chapin did not live in the King Road residence, but was a guest of Kernodle's. So now we know that Bethany was at the Sigma Chi party. We were told that she was at home by 1 a.m. and in bed, but she's now stating that she saw them at Sigma Chi until 1:45. So that's different than the information we had received prior. Let me see. My question to the room says, did they look in the empty room? The empty room downstairs? I don't think he ever actually went downstairs. Jay Hughes, yeah, you're welcome. I just want, I like visual stuff, so I'm trying to make it as visually match up as possible. Delaney, of course you heard 420. I think it was at 4 though. I think she was on TikTok. We'll see that though. Aw, thanks. I earned a subscriber. Maybe, let's see. Okay, let's keep going. The male voice. Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep going so that everybody can be on the same page. Okay, so Bethany was there. She sees them till 1:45. Gonsalves and Mogan were at a local bar, the Corner Club on Main Street in Moscow. Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video footage provided by the Corner Club between 10 p.m. on November 2nd and 1:30, which we know they were there at 1:32. So, I mean, the times are kind of rough on this, so just take it for what it is. It upset Mallory that they were off, but I get it. So at approximately 1:30 a.m., Gonsalves and Mogan can be seen on video at a local food vendor called the Grub Truck on Main Street in downtown Moscow. The Grub Truck live streams video from their food truck to the streaming platform Twitch, which is available for public viewing on their website. The video was captured by law enforcement. A private party, Blank, reported that he provided a ride to Gonsalves and Mogan at approximately 1:56 from downtown Moscow in front of the Grub Truck to the King Road residence. Dylan and Bethany both made statements during interviews that indicated the occupants of the King Road residence were at home by 2 a.m. and asleep, or at least in their rooms by approximately 4 a.m. This is with the exception of Kernodle, who received a DoorDash order at the residence at approximately 4 a.m. Law enforcement identified the DoorDash delivery driver who reported this information. Totally different timeline than we were really given. So they were awake until at least 2. Xana was still up. We know that the girls were still up because they were messaging Jack up until I think the last message was from Kaylee at like 2:56 in the morning or somewhere right there. So yeah, they were up until at least 2, and Xana up until 4, at least 4:12, because she's on TikTok at 4:12, which we're going to read here in the next sentence. But yeah, so we were told something totally different. Who orders food at 4 a.m.? Somebody who's hungry and has been up all night partying and doesn't have food in the house. So if you guys have seen the pictures probably of the Jack in the Box bag that's sitting on the counter, it has Xana's name on it. So I'd be curious if that was from that night. Yeah, munchies. Yep. I don't know. I can remember being 20 and going out and getting food in the middle of the night. Yeah, I think Ellie was giving us wrong bits to keep us busy. But they definitely had the wrong timeline, so that's kind of, I guess, since they figured they were all accounted for, they didn't have to give us the right time. But they're asking for, like, information to piece the night together, but they're not actually saying where these people were. And I'm really surprised that somebody who knew that, like, Bethany or Dylan was still out and about or was awake didn't come forward and be like, what? Bethany wasn't home at 1 a.m. She was, out at the bar still, or she was out at the frat still partying. Heck yeah, they do. They make bank from 2 to 4 a.m. in college towns. Oh yeah, that's the time that, Jack in the Box was a go-to place after the bar. Jay says, I'm forever ordering food at odd hours. Sometimes I want a burger in the middle of the night. My DoorDash has my name on it when it comes with the receipt. Interesting, 9 for 9 Sherry. Yep. Xana was eating and TikToking when he was in the house. That's creepy. Okay, we'll go back to reading. So I said I just want to kind of break it up in sections. If there's anything that we need to look at, we'll stop and look at it. DM stated, so this is Dylan, stated she originally went to bed in her bedroom on the southeast side of the 2nd floor. So this was something I had brought up right at the beginning because her social media showed that she lived in that bedroom. And if she had moved, it would have had to have been within 2 weeks of the murders. I think I've shown you guys the pictures of her bedroom and showing that she was there. If you guys want to see them, I can show them again. But she lived in that 2nd room floor. Her stuff was hanging on the walls in there on all of her social media profiles before she took them down. So she had posted, and there was no other room it could have possibly been that she was in. And her last post showing her in her room on the 2nd floor was October 28th. And this happened on November 13th. So she would have had to have moved downstairs to the 1st floor or slept with Dylan for the 1st floor thing to have been accurate. So I'm glad that finally came out because it bothered me that she would have been right there. Okay, so southeast side of the 2nd floor, Dylan stated she was awoken at approximately 4 a.m. by what she stated sounded like Gonsalves playing with her dog in one of the upstairs bedrooms, which was located on the 3rd floor. A short time later, Dylan said she heard what she thought was Gonsalves saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." A review of records obtained from a forensic download of Kernodle's phone showed this could also have been Kernodle, as her cellular phone indicated she was likely awake and using the TikTok app at approximately 4:12 a.m. Let's digest that for a second, because she thinks it's from upstairs. She thinks it's from upstairs, but that would have been how, I don't know how she would have heard Kaylee say, I think there's somebody here, or there's someone here. I don't think she would have been able to hear that unless she's like, hey, there's someone here. Okay, let's go down to Xana's room. Or not Xana's room. Let's go down to Dylan's room. I mean, the fact that she made it out alive is incredible. Okay, so we're going to go down the stairs. I have to click on the right screen. I'm trying to click on it in StreamYard. I'm like, why isn't this working? Okay, see this room right here? Right here at the bottom of the stairs? This room is Dylan's. This is Dylan's bedroom. Right there at the bottom of the stairs. This is where her stuff is all hanging on the wall in all of her social media. Do I have those? Let me see if I have them real quick. I can access them quickly to show you. Nope, that's not that one. That's a video. Gotta be right here. I pulled them up on purpose before this, so they can't be too far. Give me a second, let me find them. It's like I opened the same tab like 15,000 times. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so to kind of get the picture, you have to see. So this is Dylan. This is Dylan's headband, right? So you got to pay attention to the headband. And then this is, I think I actually have one more with her headband, so you can see it. There's Dylan. Oh, that's Murphy. Dylan's headband. Then you have, here's Dylan's room. This is Dylan, yep. So you can see this is the only room in the house. And when we look at the floor plans, you'll be able to see this too. This is the only room in the house that has a bedroom door that opens to a closet like this. Hi, Sleuth Mom. And then you can see that's her bandana. That's her hat. I have other pictures with her hat on too. This is her in that bedroom, dated October 28th. So that's why I'm like, if she moved down to the first floor, it would have had to have been right then. So no, this was definitely her room. It's the only one that's possible for that to have been her room. So just a heads up, my friend, if they can prove you shot to injure and not kill you, have a good chance of being charged and possibly going to jail. Okay. I don't want to say anything bad about surviving roommates. It's too soon, not my place to judge. No, I agree. I think that it's very interesting that they were trying to get us to believe that she was on the first floor when she was on the second floor. Her social media put her on the second floor, but the narrative to the public was that she was on the first floor. And I believe as we go through the affidavit, you're gonna kind of understand why I believe this. I'm wondering, so she sees him, but we don't actually know if he sees her. that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I'm wondering if they did not want the public to know she was on the second floor, once again, to save her from this guy who was still out there running loose. If you can't say you have a witness, you can't say this person was on the second floor, you can't say any of those things without putting her in danger of this guy coming for her, right? So, but it's just interesting that the things, we talked about this so many times, that cops can lie to us. They can lie to protect their investigation. It also makes a lot of sense why when this stuff came up, Chief Fry would always get like super weird, and he was like discombobulated, and he would talk, he was all flustered. He couldn't get it like he couldn't say anything like exact. So this is why, because he knew he was lying. He's probably not a very good liar. But they lie to us. They purposely had mainstream media putting out this narrative that us on social media were like, hey, we can see that that's not true. We can see that this is her room. It's right here. This is her room. Yeah, I think that I agree, insanely confusing. I think it's because they did not want him to know that she was on the second floor and could possibly have seen him. But she saw his eyebrows. Okay, so let me go back over here. I'll go back to the tour, so just so you guys can see again exactly where you can see this is the floor plan, right? You see that? See how the door opens to that? And then you can see the light switch, which is where this is where her stuff was hanging. There's this little thing on the bottom and it opens right to this closet door. It's the only room that does that. So this would be her room. Come on. Oh, shoot. I'm doing it from freaking StreamYard again. Dang it. Now I just did something to my StreamYard, clicking on stuff like that. Okay. Oh, that put me like right inside the door. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the hallway. Okay, so you can see going up the stairs where Dylan's room is from here. So I'll give you a good visual of how close everything is. You go back over here. There's your kitchen, your sliding door. We're going to get to that part too. Here's your little step up into the living room, and then you can see how far this is Dylan's room. This is Xana's room. That's a bathroom. This is where they take tons of pictures in front of this area right here. So yeah, Dylan was literally right next to the staircase. Right next to the staircase. Yeah, he was that close to her. He was that close to her. It's right there, literally right there. And as we go through, you're going to find that there's evidence found right outside of her door. Ah, it's just fucking scary. Okay, let's go back to the affidavit. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we know about the TikTok app. Okay, so Dylan stated that she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. Dylan stated that she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room. Dylan then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." They do not specify whose voice that is. Could be Ethan's, could be Brian's. At approximately 4:17 a.m., a security camera located at 1112 King Road, a residence immediately to the northwest of 1122 King Road, picked up the distorted audio of what sounded like voices or a whimper, followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times starting at 4:17 a.m. The security camera is less than 50 feet from the west wall of Kernodle's bedroom. She opens the door 3 times. Yes. Oh, Jay Hughes, of course, absolutely. It's devastating, Sleuth Mom. I know it's devastating. It is. It's Chrissy. It's like the stuff that's nightmares are made of. It legit is. Like, and you know, and having kids and knowing that you're, you know, hoping to send them out to college and to go live this life that you want them to live, and this be what happens. It's okay. So now I'm gonna show you so you guys can see what house that is. You guys are probably very familiar with this house, even if you don't recognize the address. It is the house that is also now blurred out on Google Maps. You guys familiar with that house? The one with all the white cars that got all kinds of crap. So here's the girl's house that's now blurred out. So it is this house right here. And we have pictures of the cops when they were there. This house right here. We have pictures of the cops when they were there taking the security footage. Let me find that for you. Oh, shoot. Hopefully I put them in here. Did I not put them in here? Of course I didn't. Why would I do that, right? That would make way too much sense. Are you serious, Teresa? All right, well, I had pictures of them that I thought I had ready to show you, but apparently I don't. So at the very beginning of this, that day, you can actually see the cops at that house. You can see the cops at that house, and it's got like a light fixture on the front door, like right outside the front door, with a black base on the bottom, and you can actually see the cops taking away that black bottom. And then for a few days after that, it's gone. Like they kept that camera part, and then a couple weeks later, you actually see it back up, put back up. So that's the camera footage that captured these noises. Ironically, if you guys listen to my live on Jack D's alibi, the gentleman who was talking on Reddit about being Jack's friend, he said that this is the house that had all the information. This is the house that had the camera. This is the one that caught everything on camera. He talks about this house specifically. Let's see. Bentley's being difficult. Well, of course he's 6. That's what they do. Oh, look at my friend made it. Hi, Sleuth.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can totally hear you. Thank you for coming up.
You're welcome.
So a lot of the stuff that I'm showing you guys is, you know, Sleuth is, she's true to her name. She digs and she finds stuff. So.
Oh, I dig. I definitely dig.
Thank you so much for popping up.
Yeah, definitely. I saw you all by your lonesome, so I was like, oh, I gotta hop on. Gotta hang with the girl. I'm all by myself.
I got all my peeps in chat. So I've just been going through and like doing, I don't know if you've been listening at all, but I'm just kind of going through like the affidavit and then using like the 3D tour that you had sent and kind of showing the house through different parts of the affidavit. And, you know, we've just been kind of talking about it. And
Ooh, which part of the affidavit are you on?
Not far, actually. I think we're only on like page 4. We're on page 4.
Page 4? Okay, I'm going to pull mine up because this is crazy. Is this not wild?
This is totally crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, so I'm trying to put like visuals with each piece so people can kind of see like where things were happening at and what they're talking about. So because I'm a visual person, so I want to see all of it.
Yeah, that's me. I gotta be able to physically see where everybody was room wise, where he may have entered,
right?
And, you know, methodically the crime scene.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're just going back and forth.
All
so
right.
Feel free to pipe in whenever you have some interesting knowledge that I know you do.
Oh yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's a ton of info. It's a ton of info. That's why I'm like, hey, we're in it for a little bit of a long haul while we go through this. Some of the end won't be nearly as interesting, but it's the stuff that's really around the house and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Colorado Mountain Life. Aw, you've been following me for years? That's just crazy, like that it's been years. I know it's just weird to even think about.
Yeah, especially with like YouTube, and it's Watts. You know, I mean, we all kind of came here on Watts.
After reading this post on another YouTube about leaked info from a friend of Ellie is real, someone will lose a job. Well, I don't know if it was actually real, because I mean, if some of the information was legit. Like the thing about the sheath, if we're talking about the same thing, Max 2002, but the information that went along with it was wrong. So I'm curious how that would go.
Yeah.
It has been years. I know, it's just weird to think that it has been years. Okay, we'll go back to this. Pick up where we left off. Okay, so we're talking about the residents. We just talked about that camera is what picked up the dog barking. So for anybody who thought that Murphy wasn't defending his person, he tried. He was barking as loud as he could. Poor dog Murphy. And I think somebody actually had put that up. They said, hold on. Somebody put, "Good job, Murph. I'm sorry that anyone ever doubted you, buddy. You barked and tried your best.
I
Kaylee
seen
would be
that
proud
post.
of you." I was like, that's the cutest, saddest post ever.
Poor Murphy. Just to know that he was in a room like adjacent to where it all happened, and he couldn't do anything. It's sad.
Yes. Did you hear that? Did I hear Ethan was in second floor bathroom? It does not say he's in the bathroom. It says he was in the room. It doesn't actually say like in bed or anything like that. It just says in the room. Always trust the dogs.
Yeah.
You know, poor little Murph. He's probably like, let me at him.
Let me get him.
Let me get him. Okay, so Dylan stated she opened her door for the third time after she heard the crying and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. Fucking scary, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Walking towards her. Dylan described the figure as a 5'10" or taller male, not very muscular, but athletically built with bushy eyebrows. The male walked past Dylan as she stood in a frozen shock phase. The male walked towards the back sliding glass door. Dylan locked herself in her room after seeing the male. Dylan did not state that she recognized the male. This leads investigators to believe that the murderer left the scene. So the combination of Dylan's statements to law enforcement, reviews of forensic downloads of records from Bethany and Dylan's phone, and video of a suspect, this is weird to state out, a video of a suspect video, as described below, leads investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that Xana was awake.
She was awake because didn't it say she was on her phone, watching TikTok at 4:12 a.m.?
Yeah, she was watching TikTok. She had just ordered
DoorDash. Jack in the Box.
Probably the Jack in the Box. That's what we assume is probably that Jack in the Box that was on the counter with her name. So she was awake. She was awake. No wonder her dad said that she fought like hell. She was awake.
Oh my gosh.
But if he's walking right towards her, I mean, the house is probably pitch black. She opens the door. We don't know how far she opens the door. I'm not convinced he saw her.
No. I could just see her laying in her room, waiting for her food, watching TikTok.
Right, with her boyfriend, just hanging out Saturday night.
Yeah, and then Maddie and Kaylee are upstairs, and they were trying to get a hold of Jack and doing their thing up there, and the other two were sleeping in their rooms. I don't know, the house seemed like maybe they had TVs or music, but it didn't really seem like anything big was going on. Everybody was kind of in their respectful spots, you know?
This is the hard part for me, and I know people are going to get mad, and I get it, but I have a hard time with why didn't she call 911 right then? We can't go back in time. We can't change it. She can't go back in time. She can't change it. And there's going to be a lot that ways it upsets me. There's a part of me that's super sad for her.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's upset. like, why didn't you do that? But like I said, you can't go back in time. I have no idea what she was thinking. I have no idea what her state of mind was, had she been drinking or doing anything else. I have no idea. But it just is like, you just go, why didn't you? Why didn't you? And I know that people are going to be mad, like, leave the roommates alone. I get it. Like, I'm not, like, I don't hate the girl. I'm not going to bash her, but it's just like, and I wonder how many times she's asked herself that question. Why didn't I? Well, you have a strange guy who's coming at you. And I get, she was probably half asleep. She was probably under the influence of at least probably alcohol. She has this guy who's walking towards her. I don't get why she did what she did. I don't know if she's going to understand why she did what she did.
I mean, also, is there a possibility too that, like, when she woke up the next day, she was probably a little hungover, probably thought, damn, that was a weird dream, and didn't realize that it was real. Like, it actually she did see a guy and there was stuff going down in that house.
Oh, really? Okay. You witnessed a crime in college and froze and did not call 911.
Ooh.
And did you ever talk to the police? Like, how long did it take you? Yeah. See, this is kind of where I'm at too. Like, I get being frozen in fear. I don't know where that comment went. Cinnamon Bear, there you are. I get being frozen in fear, but why wait 6 hours to alert anybody? This is kind of like, I don't know. And I'm also like, this sounds so bad. And that's why I don't mean to be, I'm not bashing her. If she was intoxicated, is she like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on in this house right now? This is like craziness. Got somebody crying. Got some weird dude here. Like, I'm just gonna go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're kind of out of it, and you're just like, what the F? What is going on in this house? And you don't realize the severity of what it is. You just got some dude, but you don't know because it is a party house, and these girls just moved in August. Who knows who? You know, is this somebody that somebody knew? Was it cold outside and he just put something over his face, like a sweatshirt or whatever, to kind of cover his face so he's cold, so he goes outside in the cold? And she's like, this is weird. You know, and she's like, I'm just going to bed. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, we got Xana crying, and did she get caught cheating? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going through her head. There's so many possibilities. I am frustrated. I do not want to lie and say I totally think that she should be exonerated from everything. I am frustrated that it took her so long to call. I am very frustrated. But then part of me goes, I get the fear, and I get the what if I am drunk and I'm just like, what the hell's going on around me? I'm just like out of here. I don't know.
Yeah. And then you have to think of too, like, is she afraid of like retaliation if something comes up? You know what I mean? Like, can he come back and get her?
Yeah.
If she shows face, you know what I mean?
Fear is paralyzing. Well, that's what leads me to like the frustrated part. Like, why wait till the next day? Like, was she able to go in her room and go to bed? We don't know all the details. That's why I'm like, I have all these different feelings about it. I have all these different feelings. I don't feel one way or the other. I'm kind of just trying to figure out how to wrap my own mind around that happening. You disagree she's the only person that gave a full description, so you don't think that she was actually intoxicated, or what part do you not agree with? That people have different traumas. Yeah, this is true. So here comes Dave, my voice of reason. I feel like he's like the good angel that sits on my shoulder and says, okay, Teresa, calm down. This is what's going to happen. They all prevent specific normal behaviors. My ex froze every time I yelled at our roommate, or he yelled at me. Some people just freeze or panic or maybe misunderstood. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to wrap my mind around it. I don't know. Maybe she kept thinking one of the other roommates would intervene, so she didn't. Twisted Gemini, I was thinking that. What if this is what comes out on the 911 call, which is why they couldn't release it?
Yeah.
That she's like, I saw him in the house. I saw this weird dude in the house.
Ooh, yeah.
And once again, gotta hide that because you can't have her becoming a victim. Well, she doesn't go check on her friend that's crying, like make sure she's okay. So this is where I have all these I have all these questions about the whole thing. I go back and forth. There's part of me that feels really bad, and I know she's going to have a long life of survivor's guilt and what she could have done different. And I don't wish that upon anybody.
No.
I really don't.
I mean, in all honesty, I don't know how I would handle that situation, but I feel like if I was put in a position like that, I would at least like try to call my friend, try to figure something out, or at least call the police. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would wait hours to say something or to make the discovery. Like, I'd have been in panic mode at that point.
Yeah, that's why I think I do. I have to just, I think we have to wait for more information. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't have a judgment. I'm not like sold one way or the other. I just have a lot of up in the air about that situation.
Yeah.
Your Tumeen says, I witnessed a crime in the Idaho of a few years ago. When interviewed by Ellie, I could not describe the assailant's face, even though I looked directly at him. Trauma blindness. That's very interesting. Hi, Amanda's Vida. That's an interesting trauma blindness. But she actually did remember what he looked like.
She even got it down to his eyebrows because that was on point.
Yeah, lots of questions, Sleuth Mom. Lots of questions. Could one of the victims have survived? This is kind of what gets me. This is when I go back to being more like frustrated. Like, but then I go to, she's going to have to live with that question the rest of her entire life. I don't have to live with that question. She does. And I don't wish that upon her. She's 19, 20 years old. Shoot.
She's young. Yeah, she's very young.
What if crying was a normal thing and it was like, wham, 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 here we go again. She's like, oh, that Xana's crying. I could see that. Do we know for sure she didn't pass out? No, that's why we don't know any of that stuff. There's so much to it. Okay, let's go. We'll go back to reading. Let's go back to reading because I know we still have a lot to cover. The combination. So we know that the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. So during the processing of the crime scene, investigators found a latent shoe print. This was located during the second processing of the crime scene by the ISP forensic team by first using a presumptive blood test and then amino black. Do you guys remember the blue stuff that was on the door frame of the slider? And the other day I was trying to remember the name of it. I'm like, I think it starts with an A, and I could not think of the name of it. That's what that is. That's amino black. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, that's the dang name. I was like, I bugged the crap out of me. I couldn't remember it. A protein stain that detects the presence of cellular material. The detected shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a Vans type shoe sole just outside the door of Dylan's bedroom, located on the second floor. This is consistent with Dylan's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel. Well, I mean, outside of her door it leads to upstairs, outside of her door leads to the living room, outside of her door leads to the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, and it makes you wonder, Teresa, like, okay, unless maybe I misread this, but where did he start when he got in the house?
They don't, I don't think they really clear that up for anybody.
No. Because it's
and I think it's kind of confusing because she does say that she heard Kaylee say somebody's here, but it's most likely she probably heard Xana say that because Xana's on the same floor as her and had just gotten her DoorDash. So was she saying somebody's here because the DoorDash? But okay, so let's think about the DoorDash for a second. How ballsy was Brian to go into this house
with a DoorDash of delivery?
With a DoorDash guy. Was he in there already? Was he just walking in? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 4 a.m., same time frame, the DoorDash guy gets there.
But what I'm curious about, because with DoorDash, you can tell the person to like, hey, leave my food at the back residence behind the gate or at the front door in this box. Like you can give them directions. I'm wondering, like, did they not meet face to face with the DoorDasher and he just left the food on the porch? Like, is that a possibility?
It doesn't say. It just says he delivered the food at 4 a.m.
And we see it just sitting on the counter.
Yeah, and Sniper, I tend to agree with you. That's where the sheath was left, so it's most likely that he did go up there first. But we don't know that for sure. I mean, he could have lost the sheath in between.
Yeah.
She heard Kaylee playing with the dog, but the dog was barking because he was in the room. Yeah. Maybe Xana thought it was the DoorDash guy, but it wasn't. I think Brian was sneaky as a ninja. We're going to get to the phone pings. We'll get to the phone pings on there too, because it's on there. But we're just not there yet. I think the DoorDash guy got lucky. Yeah, imagine how that dude feels, Dre.
Oh gosh, I couldn't imagine. Just knowing, hey, I delivered food to victims that probably it didn't even look like they consumed the food, right?
I know, you just see a bag with Xana's name on it.
Yeah, and it looks like it was like stapled still with the receipt and everything. It didn't even look like it was open.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get to the timing. I'm just saying from right now, from in here, it says 4 a.m. to 4:25. So we're just kind of going with that as we go through it. I know that the times get more specific as we go through. Okay, let's keep going. Because like I said, I know there's a lot in here. Okay, so now they have a shoe print of a Vans type shoe right outside Dylan's door. They don't say what direction the shoe
is, and
yeah, which way
yeah.
it's facing. Because that would be really interesting because it's blood.
It's blood. That's how you got the print.
Yeah.
So it's not saying like it's going towards, Ethan and Xana's or the stairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, as part of the investigation, an extensive search, commonly referred to in law enforcement as a video canvass, was conducted in the area of the King Road residence. This video canvass was to obtain any footage from the early morning hours of November 13, 2022, in the area of the King Road residence and surrounding neighborhoods in an effort to locate the suspect or suspects or suspect vehicles traveling to or leaving from the King Road residence. This video canvass resulted in the collection of numerous surveillance videos in the area from both residential and business addresses. I have reviewed numerous videos that were collected and have had conversations with the other MPD officers, ISP detectives, and FBI agents that are similarly reviewing footage that was obtained. A review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, hereafter as Suspect's Vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. Okay, so let's go find this. Let's find this on the map.
So his path was kind of weird. It's almost like he went up behind. It's very strange how because he went up, what was it, Indian Hills Drive and then westbound on Steiner. You'll be able to see it on the map. I think I still have
Hi, Aries girl. Yes, yeah, so he's up on Walenta, I remember, and that's up right behind the house.
Like where that apartment complex is, where it goes behind that. That's, yeah, Walenta.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go. It's actually, so this is.
Should be east of the house.
So this is Taylor right here that leads up to King. This Taylor turns into Walenta up here. See, now we're on Walenta Drive. And Indian Hill is over here as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they even have like an Indian Hills Park.
Yeah, it's not far. I just don't remember exactly where it is. It's not right here, is it? No, this is still Walenta. But this is like the path. That's a Ridge Road.
Go east of Walenta. And you'll see go east and you'll see 95. It's past 95 east.
I thought it was right here. Let me just go back to the map.
Yeah, it should be 700 block of Indian Hills Drive.
Because I thought it was right up there. My memory is not serving me. Okay, so there's their house. Am I just blind? Because I thought it was up here.
Are you looking at Google Maps?
Yeah. Do you not see it? Oh shit, you guys don't see it. No wonder you
We don't
can't see what
see
I'm
it.
doing. Hi, Muffy. Anyone know if we're supposed to see this map?
This,
Yes,
this
you're
map-
supposed to be seeing the map. I just apparently didn't put it up there. Okay, let me go back over here. Gosh, freaking crazy.
It's been a day.
It really has. Okay.
Okay, so see highway, what is it? Highway. Is that Highway 8? What the
Main
hell
Street.
highway is that? Highway 95. You see that?
Yep.
Go west of that a little bit more and you'll see Indian Drive. Let's see.
I thought it was right here.
No, it's more west. West of
It's
the highway.
more west?
Or east. I'm sorry, east of the highway.
Oh, Indian Hills Drive over here?
Yes, that way.
Okay, so let me go back and read this.
Because you see Steiner.
He was
You see
observed
Steiner
traveling
right there?
westbound on the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. Okay, so he's up in there.
Mm-hmm. And there's Steiner Avenue. He took that route.
Approximately 3:26 a.m. and then westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. On this video, it appears suspect vehicle 1 was not displaying a front license plate. Okay. So he's going, that's crazy. He like had a whole back way over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I thought he took the highway. And just went off 95.
No,
got
he's
off
over
on
here
Troy.
and then he's traveling westbound and then he goes onto Steiner and he's traveling on Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then he travels this. Travels on Steiner. Let me go back and see. At the Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at 3:28. On the video, it appeared that he did not have a front license plate. And then the video footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 and ending at 4:20. These sightings show suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the residence and then leaves via Walenta Drive. Okay, so he comes in, and I do believe that the video that Mob Crew put, from the Banfield, I do think that's him. So he comes up here, comes in here, and we're gonna learn more about what he does when he's in here. But then he leaves going out Walenta Drive. He had been scoping. He had been scoping it.
He knew that area. He definitely knew.
What an idiot.
Especially somebody that's going to school to do like criminal psychology and forensic psychology, like all the stuff of a criminologist. And he drives his car. He takes a path that's like right upon it. Like you would think there's cameras around.
You would think there's cameras flipping everywhere in 2022.
Yeah.
How many people have and he drives through the neighborhood? He's driving through the neighborhoods like people don't have Ring cameras or security cameras.
Wait till you get to the part where they talk about him trying to park. Like that's just, I mean, come on, dude. He couldn't park there. He had a hard time parking. But he's been there, 12 times allegedly, according to this? Like that's insane to me.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. Wasn't it mentioned that Ethan had to go back to a sorority house at a certain time? I have not heard that.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. Shit. Hold on.
Okay. Well, I know Kath Wells UK. I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. I shouldn't say I know. I'm positive. I think he graduated from DeSales in May. So he didn't get to Washington until after that time frame.
Okay. Yeah, he got to Washington in August, which is ironic because his first ticket coming out of Idaho, which is like a mile and a half from the university, is August 21st.
I'm wondering though if he got to Washington earlier than then. Because think about it, when we get to that part, they say 1, he gets a new phone in June, and 2, they start seeing that he has cell phone movement around the King Road from June to November.
Aha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going then.
Okay.
So now we kind of see his path, and he thinks he's smart, and he thinks he's going through this back way, so he's not on camera, and he's on camera more.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing he's an idiot.
Good thing he's an idiot.
Yeah, so he got caught.
Yeah, God. Can I just say, segue, I am so glad that sheath came off. And they found it. That is like...
Hold on, Shabade said that Chemistry Queen gifted memberships. I didn't see that. Thank you, Chemistry Queen.
Aw, that's very sweet.
That is very sweet. Thank you very much. August 1st, he moved into his residence. That's what I thought too. So this is interesting. So we'll keep going though, because maybe that's off. That's what I thought too. Dun dun dun. Where are we? Okay. Where are we? The dog came in and unplugged the speaker, and then my whole flow got messed up. Okay, so he leaves the residence on Walenta Drive based off my experience as a patrol officer. This is a residential neighborhood with a very limited number of vehicles that travel in the area during the early morning hours. Upon review of the video, there are only a few cars that enter and exit this area during this time. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. right after DoorDash. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of 500 Queen. Okay, so this is wrong because they're saying eastbound on King Road. King Road runs north and south, so they have to be talking about Queen, especially because 500 Queen is at that dead end of their house. That's where those apartments are. That's where Fire Stick guy lives. And then driving back westbound on King Road, which is east and west. This is Queen. This is wrong. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to... What the heck? Blah, 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 blah. Vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence. It appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down. See, there you go. Eastbound again down Queen Road. What a flip. The guy...
I mean, he's in a little Elantra. It's not like he's in like a Ford F-250 or a big Dodge Ram. I mean, he's in this little car. I could see him doing is trying to park his little Tonka truck, his little car. It's like, how did you 4 times you had to figure out how to park?
Well, which goes with them going and getting the tire marks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because he had to do the 3-point turn.
Well, if he's turning around or right in front of their house.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let's find that. I have that somewhere.
Doing donuts.
Yeah, what is this guy doing? It's like it's almost like he's working up the nerve, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's scoping everything out. He's working up the nerve to get in there.
That's so bizarre.
I have it on this one somewhere. Let's see.
I keep seeing people talk about the grub truck, the white car. Chrissy F is saying there was a white car that did the same thing at the grub truck video that night. But the thing is, too, though, unless he turned his phone off, he was still in Washington at 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, there was a white car. You can see it. And I was looking at it when I was doing the zooming in because you could see that white truck and that white car.
Mm-hmm. But my question is, though, based off the cell phone data, unless they didn't put it in the probable cause, when did he leave Washington? Wasn't it 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I don't think he was there. I don't think he was at the grub truck. It's probably
I
just
don't either.
White cars are the most common color car in America.
Yeah.
So here they are. Here's when they were out there getting the tire marks. It was like a few days after.
Oh yeah, I remember this. So okay, where do you think he parked then?
Well, let's go.
Did he park like at the side of the house near that road? But he would have blocked that road going back there, right? Kind of partially.
Let's go back to maps and take a look at if we can kind of map it out. I'll make sure to add the map this time, you guys.
I'll make sure to share it.
See, I'll make sure to share. I'll make sure to share the fun stuff over here. You're like, and keep the map to myself. You guys don't get to see that. You got to do your own mapping.
You don't get no maps, guys.
You'll get no maps. Okay, so that's right here. That's like right here.
Okay.
So that's what I said. So they say he's traveling westbound. They say King Road, but it's obviously Queen because this is 500. This is the 500 Queen Apartments. So let me read through it so we can kind of look at it. So he's seen entering at 4:04 a.m. He's eastbound on King Road. He stops and turns around in front of the 500 Queen Road 52 and then driving back westbound on King Road. And we see, I don't think we can't get up there with Google views on which one's 52, but so he's up at those apartments and turns around. The suspect vehicle is in front of the King Road residence. It appears to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. So right there in the front, right there in the front of the residence, he's unsuccessfully parking and or turning around. So here he's parking or turning around to go back this way. Park. He's now headed this way. So he either parks or turns around.
Turns around, yeah.
Unsuccessful at that. Probably, I'm going to say he's trying to turn around if the next thing he does is go down and does a 3-point turn. So he turned around. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen Road and King Road, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound down Queen Road again. So he goes down here, does a 3-point turn, gets caught on camera right there, and comes back up. Okay. Let's see what's next. So he's driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. So now you're at a 16-minute window. 6 minutes from the time he's, and it's got to be less because you got to remember he's still on camera at this time in his car. So at 4:04 he's on camera. At 4:20 he's on camera. So you're talking less than 16 minutes.
So that's like what? I mean, I hate sounding like bad, but it's like what, 4 minutes per victim?
Yeah, that's really
God.
what it is.
Ugh.
He's observed traveling southbound on Walenta Drive based on my knowledge of the area and review of camera footage in the neighborhood that does not show suspect vehicle 1 during that time frame. I believe that suspect vehicle 1 likely exited the neighborhood at Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River Drive is at the southern edge of Moscow and proceeds into Whitman County, Washington. Okay, so let's take a look at that. See where he went. Okay, so where did I say?
Okay, it looks like
Palouse River Drive and Conestoga Drive. Palouse River and Conestoga. Okay, so if he goes up Walenta.
And it says it's like on the southern edge of Moscow.
Okay. Here's Conestoga over here.
Okay.
So where's
Conestoga and then Palouse River Drive. Oh, wait, I see it. Hold on. See where Gypsy Java is? In the auto. Go, yeah, keep going to the.
Oh, over here. Oh, yeah, right there. Oh, okay. So he goes up Walenta. He goes up Walenta, onto Conestoga, out Conestoga, and then down Sand, which becomes Palouse River Drive. Right here. Oh, so he went all the way up, back and through there. So this is interesting because I always had an issue with this neighborhood because when they asked for surveillance footage, they asked for this square, this square right here.
Yeah.
This was the square they wanted, and it had nothing to do. Sigma Chi wasn't in there, where the grub truck wasn't in there, the bar wasn't in there. It all had to do with this neighborhood right here. That
That's
is
so crazy.
crazy to me. So he actually went straight through and went around Conestoga and then went down.
So wait, when would they have caught him on the A&W gas station one? Going to the residence?
Okay, so A&W.
See on Taylor Avenue?
Yep.
See where the A&W? I guess there's like a Suncoast Mart and a gas station.
I'm trying to think of. They would have got him right here when he was coming down Steiner Avenue.
I didn't even make that connection.
Yeah, they would have caught him right
man.
there on that A&W.
Wow.
Coming down Steiner to go to Taylor.
What an idiot. Let's go through the heart of town. Like,
yeah, what an idiot.
That is imbecilic. That's an imbecile for you. That's pretty bad.
That's crazy. Where's the gas station?
I think that was the A&W, right?
That said that she had it at 3:45. Where's that at? I don't remember where that is now. Somebody in chat, where's that gas station? Maps.
Gotta do the maps.
You gotta do the maps. Maps with T. But see, maps with T, I like to just keep it on like my side. I don't like to share it with you guys.
At all.
No, I apparently do. So that was at 3:45 towards the house. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure out where that was. Because I never was sure that was actually, I was never sure that wasn't the A&W. No, that's a different one. I was never sure that car was actually the right car. So I want to see if it could possibly be. Was he out driving? He drove by so many times. It was an Exxon.
See, I agree with Mary. I kind of wonder if he realized, oh my God, where's my sheath?
And you think he went back because of that?
Uh-huh. That's my theory.
This is it right here. That's the Exxon, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
But that doesn't really fit into the timeline.
No, not at all.
Right? The A&W could. We don't know the time of it, but the A&W is there. So there's two different ones. The one that the chick came out with the picture of the 3:45 of the white car. That's not the A&W. Somebody said something about the chief. Hold on. Chief told ABC Monday it was his car in that image, but I don't know. Well, I don't even know if the chief understood what image they were talking about, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because let's look at the, I can look at the Exxon real quick. Hold on. This is the gas station that supposedly had the chick took the photo of the car from her phone.
Oh,
so it's like
yeah.
a photo of a photo, remember?
Mm-hmm.
That's this one. And she says she saw him driving by heading towards the house, and he turns down the road that would lead to the house. So I wonder if he turns down Steiner, but that doesn't that doesn't make sense with the timeline still. Because the timeline is that he was already driving over there at 3:29 a.m.
Well, didn't they say something about the Indian Hills Drive? He was like driving westbound from the 700 block of Indian Hills and up towards Steiner?
Yep.
What?
I don't think that's the right car. I don't think that one from that gas station is the right car. What do you guys think?
I don't think it is. They're saying that car had tinted windows and his didn't.
Okay, so somebody's saying it's mobile. It was a mobile gas station? I have the screenshots in my phone.
Girl, we gonna be hitting up every gas station in
I've seen this
Moscow.
one. Let's see. Yeah, near. Okay, that's the one I think it is too. Yeah, I don't think it's him on that video. That white car, I don't think had anything to do with him. The Exxon Mobil. It's this one. And that wouldn't, I don't think that has anything to do with it. The timing is wrong.
Yeah.
Unless he drove by it 12 times, then it wasn't him at 3:45. Well, they say that he's in the area of the house at, what did I say, 3:29.
329, yeah.
Multiple footage of multiple obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of the vehicle starting at 3:29 a.m. That wouldn't match up. Okay, people are saying White Avenue. Let me go look. So is that not the... You guys are saying this is not the right gas station? I don't see another Exxon over here.
Where's the mobile at? There's the Exxon.
That's the one on Troy. That's the one I thought it was.
Okay.
I don't have a visual timeline up now. White and Troy gas station is what I was seeing photos of. But he has to go in circles, LOL, so I think it was him because the car only showed the one time. You think he would have gone all the way back over there? Hold on, let me see what Jeannie just said. Aw, Jeannie got gifted one of the emojis. That's awesome.
Oh.
One of the emojis. No, gifted one of the memberships that has emojis. Troy and White. I have the right one. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you. 3:45 was at the gas station. I mean, he would have had to have traveled all the way out and then back. Because it's over here. And he's supposedly up here in the Indian Hills. He's supposedly up here traveling and then travels down to Steiner. And that's starting at 3:29. I just don't know if that's his car. I just don't think it is.
No. And I'm wondering if it was probably like they thought maybe it could be, but then realized like, okay, we got two different cars. We have one with tinted and one with not tinted. And they still put it in there just thinking.
Right.
Because I mean, even the year they not messed up on, but you know what I mean? Like they said, because what was it? Like a 2011 to 2013. And then they said, now we're looking for like a 2013 to a 2016.
Yeah, 2014 to a 2016.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the affidavit. Let's see. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the King Road. We looked at those. We looked at that. We looked at his exit from out of the back. Eventually, the road leads to Pullman, Washington. Pullman, Washington is approximately 10 miles from Moscow, Idaho. Both Pullman and Moscow are small college towns, and people commonly travel back and forth between them. Do you guys see this, or am I just reading it to myself? I'm totally reading it to myself. That's what I do. Was the front door open? Not that I'm aware of. I know that one neighbor supposedly told the mainstream media that. So, okay. Law enforcement officers provided video footage of suspect one to forensic examiners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation that regularly utilize surveillance footage to identify the year, make, and model of an unknown vehicle that is observed by one or more cameras during the commission of a criminal offense. The examiner has approximately 35 years of law enforcement experience with 12 years at the FBI. His specific training included identifying unique characteristics of vehicles, and he uses a database that gives visual clues of vehicles across states to identify differences between the vehicles. After reviewing the numerous observations of suspect vehicle one, the forensic examiner initially believed that the suspect vehicle one was 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. Upon further review, he indicated it could also be a 2011 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. And I'll just say my husband does not have any of that experience, but he actually said the same thing. When we were talking, I was showing him the Hyundai that's outside of the school by Jack D's house. And he's like, that's not the right year. That's like a 2017 to 2020 model.
See, I would
He's
be
like,
bad with that.
I suck at that. I couldn't even say, I wouldn't even have been able to tell you it was a Hyundai Elantra. But he was like, no,
No.
that's not the right year. And he even said to me, and I didn't even put it together, but he said the models were the same from like 2010 to 2016. That's what he said to
Really?
me. And I didn't even put it together. I was like, oh, okay, thanks, whatever, you know, and I moved on with my life. But he was totally right. As a result, the investigators have been reviewing information on persons in possession of a vehicle that is a 2011 to 2016 white Hyundai Elantra. Investigators were given access to video footage on the Washington State University campus. A review of that video indicated that at approximately 2:44 a.m. on November 13th, a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed on surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street at Northeast Stadium Way at approximately 2:53 a.m. A white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra, known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington, towards State Road 270. State Road 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. This camera footage was from Pullman, Washington, was provided to the same FBI forensic examiner. The examiner identified the vehicle observed as the 2014 to 2016 Hyundai Elantra. They don't give a date when they do this, do they?
No.
They don't say when they actually turned all this over to him. Okay. At approximately 5:25 a.m., a white sedan, which was consistent with the description of the vehicle, was observed on 5 cameras in Pullman, Washington, and on the WSU campus cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive in Moscow. So he just took that took that road straight home, which intersects with Conestoga Drive, which was the street right behind the house, or behind Walenta. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270. At approximately 5:27 a.m., the white Elantra was observed on cameras traveling northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street, Stadium Way at Grimes Way, Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. Okay, so here's like all their pictures. Depictions showing the white Elantra's path of travel. Seen leaving the WSU campus. So they have like all these doom, boom, 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 boom. You can see him leaving. Then there's that North Valley Road up there. Oh, the red is him returning. The yellow is him leaving. The yellow is him leaving. Okay. The arrows are camera locations and indicate vehicle direction of travel. So you see the yellow ones is where he's leaving, and then you see the red where he's coming back.
Oh.
Interesting. All right, let's see what you guys think in chat now. Where are we at? Okay, so if he's not, he left there speeding away at 4:20. And he's caught on cameras at about 5:20. It took him a long time to go home.
What was he doing that whole time?
I don't even want to.
It's only a few
I
minutes.
think he was doing that the whole time.
Was he like stopping and like trying to get rid of stuff, or?
Yeah, a 10-minute drive took him an hour almost.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think in chat? You snicker every time you hear Cougar Way.
Cougar Way.
Hi, Squeaky Wheel.
Ooh, someone said they think he got rid of the knife.
Oh, hiking into the woods to hide crap.
All the
Well,
lots.
they have him on so many surveillance cameras, you'd think that they would be able to figure that out. He stopped to clean himself up? Or did he stop to enjoy what he had just done?
Max, maybe he shot himself. You never know. I mean,
Possible, I guess.
there is a part of me that wonders, did he like drive around because he was in such like shock and awe and still in that like adrenaline rush that he doesn't even know what he's doing? So he's just driving.
All right, so let's go back. We'll go back to the map and we'll kind of travel his route real quick. Well, as quick as we can, I think. So we know that he went down here, he comes around over here, and now he's this way. Okay, so let's go back over here and see what they said the direction was. They have a lot on this, so let's take it a step at a time. Okay, that's when he's leaving campus. You guys want to do leaving campus? No, we'll do going to campus first because we're already over here. A white sedan, which was consistent with the description, was observed on 5 cameras. The first camera that recorded the white sedan was located at 1300 Johnson Road in Pullman. Okay, so Johnson Road is right off of West Palusi River Drive. Okay, so let's look at that. Johnson Road.
Oh, you got to share screen, I think.
Ah, shit. Yeah. God damn it.
It's really hard to see the probable cause affidavit, the little map that they put in there.
Yeah.
Like I'm hyper focused on the red dots and I'm like, I can't see anything. It's so dark in that affidavit.
So Palusi Drive. They said goes to Johnson. I don't see that though. All right, let me read it again. The white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Okay, so Johnson Road leads directly back to West Palusi River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with Conestoga Drive. The white sedan was then observed north on Bishop. Okay, so we need West Palusi River Drive and Johnson Road.
Hey, don't forget we're not sharing screen yet.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't know that we weren't. I really did. I thought I shared the screen. I just never actually added it to the stream. Gosh. It was such a disaster.
See, that's why I love Ellie in chat. She's like, we can't see you.
Okay, thank you. We can't see what you're talking about. Okay, so this is the Palusi River Drive right here. So he came down Conestoga. Okay, let's go back up. Okay, we're at the house. He goes up Walenta, comes down, gets onto Conestoga. Over here, drives down. Sand Road is Palusi River Drive. And he goes this way. Did they say he was going? Is he going the other way? Which way did they say he was going?
On with the Palouse Drive?
Yeah, he was going this way, correct?
Yeah, West Palouse Drive.
But they said it goes into Johnson.
Yeah, because it says the white sedan was observed traveling northbound on Johnson Road. Johnson Road leads directly to West Palusa River Drive in Moscow, which intersects with, what did you say, Constanega? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, something like that.
Constanega Drive. Then the sedan was observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard and northwest on State Road 270.
Okay. State Road 270.
Mm-hmm.
And
that would have been at 528.
So Johnson Road and Palusi River Drive. This is not Johnson Road.
Oh, Conestoga. Thanks, BR. Conestoga.
Johnson Road, Pullman, Washington. Let's see. There's 270,
Okay.
and he's seen going northbound. I just am not
Yeah, because it says so he
sure where it
started
intersects.
he started northbound on Johnson, and then he went to let's see, Johnson leads directly back to West Palouse River Drive. Then which intersects with Constanega Drive. The white sedan was then observed turning north on Bishop Boulevard. Where's Bishop Boulevard?
That's right here.
Oh, okay. So then he turns north on Bishop and then heads northwest on County Road, or I'm sorry, State Road 270.
Right here.
And that would have been when he turned. Oh, wait, that's a different time. So this would have been at 5:25.
Yeah, this is his route home. Okay, so now we want to see this area and see how much it had anything to do with
It does look
I mean, there's
kinda
obviously a bunch of,
desolate.
yeah. Yeah, he could have stopped.
Yeah.
They don't have him over here until 5:20 something. So wherever he stopped was before this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back this way. Because, I mean, like, look down here.
Mm. That does look desolate.
Yeah, it does. Okay, hold on. I'm going to look at something on my phone real quick. Because I want to
Okay.
see. This is in Pullman. And then the other one was Palouse
River Drive.
in Moscow. I'm just curious. How they meet up, but there's like yeah, it's just like there's nothing out there.
It looks desolate, even from the overhead, like the satellite imagery.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they're going to have anybody out searching, or if there has been like search parties that have been out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then he goes up to 270. So that's why those cameras, those pictures in the affidavit are kind of like they're busy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the best word I can use to describe them, because look at, they're in this, you know what I mean? They're in this busyness. They're not out on those other ones. So he goes up 270 into Pullman. Okay, let's see what else, where he goes after that. Okay, so he goes north on Bishop up to 270. And then he's observed northbound on Stadium Way at Nevada Street and Grimes Way.
And then Stadium Drive at Wilson Road, and then Stadium Way at Cougar Way. I said it Cougar Way.
Cougar Country Inn right there.
Dang.
There's the Coug.
There's the Coug right there.
Okay, so he goes up to 270. Davis Way. Okay.
I mean, do you guys really think he would ditch the knife though?
I don't know. I never actually thought he got rid of it. I think that he would want it as like a momentum.
Yeah.
Stadium Way, Wilson, and Stadium Way at Cougar Way. Yeah, so that's the 5. Nevada Street, Grimes Way, Wilson Road, and Cougar Way. He's in this mess of shit in here. Where is it? Where are you? Hold on. Let's go. Grimes Way. Pull that. Okay. And Wilson, Grimes, Wilson. And the other one was Cougar. There was one more.
There's Cougar and Stadium.
Wilson, Grimes, Nevada.
Nevada Street, Stadium Way, Grimes, Stadium Drive, Wilson, and then Cougar. That's a lot.
There's Northeast Stadium Way. There's Wilson. There's Grimes. Oh yeah, he got caught up in all this mess. And then the one I don't see is actually, I don't see Cougar. But if he's going up Stadium Way, he's passing these, isn't he? So if he's going up Stadium, he passes Grimes, he passes Wilson. Where was Nevada? Was Nevada down here? No, that's Olympia. And then you have Orchard. There's Valley. There's Nevada down here. So that's how he's going. He's going down Northeast Stadium Way and he's passing these streets.
Okay.
We're going up, I should say, because he gets off on the 270, goes up Stadium Way, passes Nevada, passes Grimes, passes Wilson, and then wherever Cougar is. Because, I mean, here's your WSU housing. Okay, so let's see what he does next. That's not to scale, not to scale, not to scale. Okay, so, all right, I guess that's it. That's where they catch him. So, okay. I want to live on Cougar Way. Miss Italy D, this is actually Washington. So this is Pullman right here. This is his route of travel on his way home around 5:20 to 5:30-ish. Okay. Let's go back to the affidavit. Okay, so that's his path home. We went through that. Okay, so now on November 25th, MPD asked area law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for a white Hyundai Elantra in the area. On November 29th at approximately 12:28 a.m., Washington State University police officer Daniel Tiengo queried white Elantras registered at WSU. Good job, Officer Daniel Tiengo. As a result of that query, he located a 2015 white Elantra with a Pennsylvania plate. This vehicle was registered to Brian Koberger. Hereafter, Koberger residing at 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment 201, Pullman, Washington, approximately 3/4 of a mile from the intersection of Stadium Way and Cougar Way, which was the last camera location that picked up the white Elantra. The same day at approximately 12:58 a.m., Officer Curtis Whitman was looking for white Hyundai Elantras and located a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra at 1630 Northeast Valley Road in Pullman in the parking lot. It is an apartment complex that houses WSU students. Officer Whitman also ran the car and it returned to Koberger with a Washington tag. He'd already had him switched. Remember, he switched him 5 days later.
Mm-hmm.
I reviewed Coburg's Washington State driver's license information and photograph. He did have a Washington State driver's license. There you go, people. This license indicates that Koberger is a white male with a height of 6 foot and weighs 185 pounds. Additionally, the photograph of Koberger shows that he has bushy eyebrows. Koberger's physical description is consistent with the description of the male that Dillon saw inside the King Road residence on November 13th. Okay, so this is all happening around November 25th, right? November 29th. November 29th. Okay, keep that in mind. November 29th. Further investigation, including a review of Ladau County's Sheriff's Deputy Duke's body cams and reports, showed that on August 21st, where's Mallory? They told Mallory they did not have body cam of this.
I remember her saying that, and I'm like, it's probably because it's a part of this investigation. Because I had a feeling the August 21st pullover had something to do with this. You know what I mean? Like this case. Like, where was he pulled over? At what time? What was the body cam?
1.5 miles from the university, from Idaho State University.
At 11:30 at night?
That I don't remember.
Yep. It was like, I think it was 11:30 or 11:40 is when the police report was like, they documented that he was pulled over.
Yeah, that's what we could call him, is Bushy.
Bushy Brian.
Bushy Brian. Wow. Are you leaving, Chemistry Queen? Or are you saying goodnight to somebody else? If you're leaving, I'll see you later. And thank you very much for the gifted memberships. I really appreciate it.
That was really sweet.
Let's just see what chat was saying. Okay, over an hour for a 10-minute ride, parked and hiked. Yeah, it's very possible. So you're looking at areas, if it was gone 50 minutes, you'd go out, 25 minutes each way, hike out 25, in 25. Official poll, is it smart to use your personal vehicle to commit murder? No, you'd think you would have learned that in school. Taking care of your eyebrows is a thing, Brian. Lena, I totally agree. All right, good night, Chemistry Queen. I'll see you later. Thank you very much.
Didn't Brian Laundrie have bushy eyebrows too?
I think he did. He was weird looking too.
Goofy looking eyebrows.
That's his new name. Okay, let me see. Let's go back. Okay, so where were we?
Okay, so you were talking about the
Bushy eyebrows.
driver's, the bushy eyebrows. So you're on the further investigation, right?
Further
no,
investigation. No, that's the way we did this. At the time, Koberger was no, we didn't. Okay, we stopped at the body cam because they told Mallory they didn't have body cam. Liar, pants on fire. Brian Koberger was detained as part of a traffic stop that occurred in Moscow, Idaho, by Officer Duke. At the time, Koberger, who was the sole occupant, was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plates, which was set to expire on November 30th. So at least he got getting his plates changed was actually the right timing. But still, during the stop, which was recorded via a law enforcement body camera, Koberger provided his phone number, blah, 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 hereafter the 8458 phone, as his cellular telephone number. Investigators conducted electronic database queries and learned that 8458 phone is number issued by AT&T. On October 14th, Brian Koberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by a WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam and report of the stop, Koberger was the sole occupant and was driving a white 2015 Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plates. So this guy is used to getting pulled over. He probably did not question getting pulled over twice in Indiana, I bet.
Yeah.
On November 18th, according to Washington State licensing, Koberger registered the 2015 white Elantra with Washington and later received a Washington plate. Prior to this time, the 2015 white Elantra was registered to Pennsylvania, which does not require a front license plate to be displayed. This was learned through communications with Pennsylvania officer who is currently certified in the state of Pennsylvania. Based on my own experience and communication with Washington law enforcement, I know that Idaho and Washington require front and back license plates to be displayed. Investigators believe that Koberger is still driving the 2015 white Elantra because his vehicle was captured on December 13th by a license plate reader in Loma, Colorado.
Do you want to know where that's at?
Yeah, where is it?
It's on I-70 west of Grand Junction, really close to Utah, the Utah border.
Really?
Yes. So it's funny because I was thinking, like, I was trying to figure out his path of travel from Washington to Pennsylvania, but he somehow got on 70 in Colorado. So he went south towards like Twin Falls, Idaho, and then into Utah over to Colorado and took 70 east to Pennsylvania. So it's crazy, Tracy, I just moved, right? Like
Right.
a few months back. He actually, if he stayed on I-70 that whole time, he would have passed the old house I sold.
Wow. Shelly says he did pass her house.
Dang. See, that's so crazy.
I think we've established that this dude drives like crap.
Yeah. Got pulled over quite a bit. Can I say, though, it is interesting. I'm wondering when, like, what time of the day he got pulled over in that October stop in Washington, because I might be reaching and my hand might be too high. But wasn't the dog Buddy killed in October?
I don't remember the date, but it was like I think it was 3 weeks prior to this. So that would be October. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I hope not.
I know.
I mean, I don't know. This guy's already sick. It's not going to change anything.
No.
Okay. So let's see. So on December 13th, he was in Loma, Colorado. Kohberger's Elantra was then queried on December 15th by law enforcement in Hancock County, Indiana. On December 16th, at approximately 2:26, surveillance video showed Kohberger's Elantra in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. So December 15th, the Hancock County is the one that pulled him over first.
Mm-hmm.
So it was queried on December 15th, which means it shows up in their database. But I'm curious because it came out yesterday, because there was this whole thing that the first statements were that the two pullovers in Indiana didn't have anything to do with this investigation. They didn't know who this guy was. They didn't know anything about his vehicle. Then it came out last night that that's not true, that the FBI did request for them to pull him over so they could get pictures of his hands and verify the occupants of the car. So I'm confused because they're not stating that here, but they don't have to. So, I mean, it is what it is. They just say that he was queried. He was queried by the Hancock County, Indiana, which was the first one.
But you know what's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
So I was on Twitter, was it before? I think it was before the affidavit was released. And I think it was Jennifer, how do you say her name?
Coffindeffer?
Coffindeffer. I said Coffin Finder. Well, that's wrong. But I think it was her or someone, I can't, because I follow all these people on Twitter. You know me, girl, with the Twitters. It came out that the FBI claims that they never told them to pull them over. It was false.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, that story's changed like 15,000 times too.
Yeah. But it is very strange that you would pull someone over in the same state twice for the same thing. It is a little sus to me.
Okay, so Squeaky Wheel said that the Indiana cops came back out today and said that regardless of the Fox News reports, no request was made by the FBI to stop Brian and his dad, which I actually believe. I believe that to be true, because it doesn't make sense that wouldn't even be in here. It just shows that his car was queried, and it was only queried by the first cop. And remember, the second cop asks for doesn't take his driver's license, doesn't do nothing. The first cop takes the driver's license but hands it right back to him, but the second one doesn't do crap.
Yeah,
So
why not ask for registration either?
But that means he didn't even query him.
Nope.
So I think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If anything is learned from this case on social media, I sincerely hope people stop believing things so freaking blindly. Mainstream media, all of it. Go find the facts yourself. If you see something in a Facebook group, go find the research. Ask for a source. All these things, because I'm telling you, this case has been all over the place, and it's fed right into mainstream media. It's fed right onto social media.
Well, and the downfall too is Teresa. Okay, so I was watching. She's here in chat. Alex Erickson's live earlier today. And Law and Crime had their, they do their panel guests to people. Well, this lady comes on and she's trying to incriminate Brian's dad. Like,
Well, remember, they tried to incriminate Steve Gonsalves.
mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, let's bring out the pitchforks and the torches and just go after everybody. Like, not
I'm
good.
just telling you guys, ask for a source. Just ask for where they read it at. I mean, obviously, social media wise, they're going to source Fox News. So Fox News, where did you get this information? Because that's crazy. If that's actually not true, and media is putting it out like that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's really reckless.
Yeah, if those cops had, well, it didn't make sense either, because if they'd asked him to pull him over to get photographs and look at his hands, that second cop really failed at that job.
Mm-hmm.
FBI said too that they did not ask, Allie.
I'm with Max though. I find it really weird that he's like, "Where are you heading to?" And Brian's like, "Going to get some Thai food." Like,
He did not want them to know. He was
No.
pissed, I think, that his dad was giving up so much information. He just was like, "Yeah, we're just going to get Thai food. Like, we're driving normal. Like, we're just going to get Thai food." And the dad's like, "Oh yeah, we're coming from WSU. We're headed
There
to
was a shooting.
Pennsylvania." And he's like, "Stop telling this flipping guy what we're doing and where we're from."
The look on his face, like he was literally like mean mugging his dad when his dad's like, "Yeah, there was a shooting back at WSU. My son goes there."
Yeah. But he was like proud dad. He was like, "Yeah, he's getting his PhD and, blah, blah, blah." But
Yeah.
I know, I felt bad for the dad because he was like bragging on him, but you could see that Brian was just like, "No, we're just going to get Thai food. Like, we're not telling you anything else. We know you're going to get dinner, and that's all you need to know, buddy." The look that he gives his dad. I was like, "Oh man, you better watch out, Pops."
There was a shooting at the campus, wasn't there? Like a day
Yeah,
or two.
the guy who
Yeah.
actually was like, who worked for like ISU.
Yes.
Like, went all loopity-loop and barricaded his roommates and stuff, and then they ended up shooting him, and the roommates survived. It was crazy. It was like right after this, and everybody was like, "Is that the guy? Is that the guy?"
Mm-hmm.
Ironic that it was very close to where the guy was. Okay, let's go back. Go back to reading this. Okay, so then on December 16th, he is seen in Albrightsville. The sole occupant of the vehicle was a white male whose description was consistent with Koberger. Koberger has family in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. Based on information provided on the WSU website, Koberger is currently a PhD student studying criminology at WSU, pursuant to records provided by a member of the interview panel for Pullman Police Department. We learned that Koberger's past education included undergraduate degrees in psychology and cloud-based forensics. These records also showed Koberger wrote an essay when he applied for an internship with the Pullman Police Department in the fall of 2022. Koberger wrote in his essay he had interest in assisting rural law enforcement agencies with how to better collect and analyze technological data in public safety operations. Koberger also posted a Reddit survey, which can be found by an open source internet search. The survey asked for participants to provide information to understand how emotions and psychological traits influence decision making when committing a crime. As part of this investigation, law enforcement obtained search warrants to determine cellular devices that utilize cellular towers in close proximity to the King Road residence on November 13th between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. After determining that Koberger was associated to both the 2015 white Alondra and the 8458 phone, investigators reviewed these search warrants. A query of the 8458 phone in these returns did not show the phone utilizing cellular tower resources in close proximity to the King Road residence between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Okay. Based on my training, experience, and conversations with law enforcement officers that specialize in the utilization of cellular telephone records as part of investigations, individuals can either leave their cellular telephone at a different location before committing a crime or turn their cellular telephone off prior to going into a location to commit the crime. This is done by subjects in an effort to avoid alerting law enforcement that their device associated with them was in the particular area where a crime is committed. I also know that on numerous occasions, subjects will surveil an area where they intend to commit a crime prior to the date of the crime. Depending on the circumstances, this could be done a few days before or for several months prior to the commission of a crime. During these types of surveillance, it is possible that an individual would not leave their cellular telephone at a separate location or turn it off since they do not plan to commit the offense that particular day. This is a stupid criminal tactic right here. This is turn your cellular phone off every time.
Or leave it at home and make it look like you're home.
Jeannie, I know you think that Dad knew. I just am not there. I'm not there. I'm not there with the Dad knowing anything yet.
I don't think he knew anything, to be honest. I mean, he's 67 years old, like pretty much retired. You know what I mean? Like feels like retirement age. I can't see. They seem like old school people.
Yeah, I just don't think. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on the parents knew anything, mom or dad.
Now, what I'm curious about is how he got the knife. Like, did he go to a pawn shop, an army surplus place, or was it given to him by someone?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like
we
a
know it's
family
not the
member?
marketplace guy
No.
who's been trying to say that in October he bought it from him in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's not
More fake news on social media.
more fake news.
Gosh. Okay, so on December 23rd, pursuant to that search warrant, I received records for 8458's phone from AT&T. These records indicated that 8458 phone is subscribed to Brian Koberger's address in Albrightsville and Pennsylvania, and the account has been open since June 23rd, 2022. These records also included historical cell site location information for the 8458 phone. After receiving this information, I consulted with the FBI special agent, the certified member of the Cellular Analysis Survey team. Members of CAST are certified with the FBI to provide expert testimony in the field of historical CSLI, which is the cell site location information, and are required to pass extensive training that includes both written and practical examinations prior to being certified with CAST, as well as the completion of yearly certification requirements. Additionally, the FBI CAST special agent that I consulted with has over 15 years of federal enforcement experience, which includes 6 years with the FBI. From information provided by CAST, I was able to determine estimated locations for the 8458 phone from November 12th, 2022 to November 13th, 2022, the time period authorized by the court. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 2:42 a.m., the phone was using cellular resources that provide coverage to 1630 Northeast Valley Road, apartment G201 in Pullman, Washington. That's his residence. At approximately 2:47, the phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage southeast of the residence, consistent with the 8458 phone leaving the residence and traveling south through Pullman, Washington. This is consistent with the movement of the white Elantra. At approximately 2:47 a.m., the phone stops reporting to the network, which is consistent with either the phone being in an area without cellular coverage, the connection to the network is disabled, such as putting the phone in airplane mode, or that the phone is turned off. The 8458 phone does not report to the network again until approximately 4:48. That's interesting. Okay, at which time it utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Idaho State Highway 95, south of Moscow, Idaho, near Blaine, Idaho. Okay, so at 4:48 a.m., it was back on.
Can I just say that this almost does, I mean, to me, granted, and beyond a reasonable doubt, so we don't have a trial yet, but this almost shows that this could have been premeditated. I mean, he knows to turn that phone off at 2:47 in the morning. He puts that thing either off or on airplane mode at 2:47, and that thing does not come back online until what, 4:48? Because when did he roll up to the house? 3:29
something. Oh, earlier.
3:29. So 2:47 lights out on the cell phone. He approaches the house at 3:29 by the car. Like he gets there at 3:29, and then the phone comes back online at 4:48.
This is going to be interesting in a visual timeline. I can tell you that right now, because this is That doesn't make any sense. He turns it back on at 4:48, but he's not caught on cameras close to home until 5:20 something.
What was he doing in that time frame? That's a lot of time. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's gonna have to be a whole separate thing. I'll have to go through and look at that. I'm sure
That's
somebody will
gonna be
probably
another day.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be another time because we're gonna have to map out exactly where he is at what times that his cell phone is going, and I'm sure somebody else will do it long before I ever do it. So, all right, let's go back over here. Because between 4:50 a.m. and 5:26 a.m., the phone utilizes cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling south on Idaho State Highway 95 to Genesee, Idaho, then traveling west towards Uniontown, Idaho, and then north back into Pullman, Washington. See, this is where that whole missing time frame that we were like, wait a minute, where did that go? This is it. This is what he's doing. He's driving in all different directions at approximately 5:30 a.m. The 848 phone is utilizing resources that provide coverage to Pullman and consistent with the phone traveling back to the Koberger residence. The phone's movements are consistent with the movements of the white Elantra that is observed traveling north on Stadium Drive at 5:27. Based on review of the 8458's phone estimated locations and travel, the 8458 phone's travel is consistent with that of the white Elantra. Further review indicated that the phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th that are consistent with the phone leaving the area of the Koberger residence at approximately 9 a.m. and traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to the King Road residence between 9:12 and 9:21. The 8458 phone next utilized cellular resources that are consistent with the 8458 phone traveling back to the area of his residence and arriving to the area at approximately 9:32. So he goes back to the house, probably because he knows he lost his sheep. Or he wants to see if anything's happening yet and he wants to enjoy it.
Exactly.
It's about time that everybody's awake and can see what's going on.
I mean, he got back to Washington at what time? 5:27?
Yep.
And then he leaves at 9. So that's like what, 3 hours? 4 hours? 4
Yeah,
hours?
he doesn't go to sleep.
No. Nope. I wonder what he did that whole time back in his apartment.
Hi, sleuthing tater tot.
And I was going to say, I can't find a Uniontown, Idaho, but I did see a Uniontown, Washington. So I'm wondering if they got that little messed up there. Kind of like the north and south, or the Queen and King.
Yeah.
Because there's a Genesee, Idaho, and if you go west, you end up in Uniontown, Washington. Because I'm like you, I have to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, so he goes down, around, up, and then back up. Like, how weird.
Yeah.
So that we catch him back on cameras when he's back up.
Colorado Mom sent you a super chat.
Yeah, I was thinking that, BR. I wasn't going to say it, so thank you for typing it, but that's what I was thinking. Colorado Mom, thank you so much for the super chat. I think serial killers were discussed in their home in front of a young Brian for years, and he learned a fascination of this probably from a young age. Well, his whole family is in, therapists, counselors, and they're all very much into the psychology of things, so it's very possible.
He left at 9, right? In the morning?
Let me go back real quick.
Okay.
He leaves his house at approximately 9 a.m., traveling to Moscow, Idaho. Specifically, the 8458 phone utilized cellular. Yeah, so he gets to the King Road residence at 9:12. So you can see 9 a.m. to 9:12 is how long it takes him to typically drive there. 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yep. And then it's back at his house at 9:32. So it takes him 11 minutes to get home. 12 minutes to get there, 11 minutes to get home. And he sticks around there for 9 minutes. What is he doing?
Yeah.
Did he go back into the house?
That
Did
would
he try to go back into the house?
That would be ballsy. But see, okay, I'm hung up on those bar stools, Teresa. You know me. I'm like, those bar stools, though.
I think the cops did it.
Did you?
I think the cops put them there. The early photos don't show the bar stools there. And then I have a close-up I don't think I have on my phone, or on my computer. I have a close-up of that back door, and it looks broken.
Really?
Yeah, let me see.
Okay.
Let me try to find it, and I can send it. Yeah, so I think they put the stools there to keep it.
So nobody could come in that way to
Yep.
contaminate the crime scene or hide stuff or get stuff out of there.
Yeah, let me see if I can find this picture real quick. I have so many pictures on my phone that I have not put on my computer. It's crazy. So I'm just gonna see if I can find it real quick so you guys don't have to wait too long. There it is. Let me just save it real quick and I'll show you.
I wonder at what point when he realized his sheath was missing.
But you'd think that he would have checked for shit like that before he actually walked out of the house.
Right? Like I got my cell phone, I got my knife, I got my sheath.
Yeah, like a little checklist, you know?
Yeah, I still got my
Cell
mask
phone's in
on.
the car, turned off, check.
Check.
Got the sheath? Nope. Where the heck is it?
Yeah.
So you guys can take this for what it is. This is just a screenshot that I grabbed. So from one of the videos.
Okay. I
I
kind
don't
of
know.
do
It looks
remember
broken
this.
to me, right?
Yes.
So I think that they put them there. I think that the things were there for
To keep
just to
people out.
keep that out. Yeah, I don't think that lock was working.
Was it always like this or?
I don't know. I just grabbed the screenshot because I was like, oh, that's broken. So I just grabbed it.
Because isn't there's
If you look at
body
the very
cam.
beginning when they're at the house. So one of my favorite places to like look at the videos is Fox News Digital. They have really good photos, and then Daily Mail. I know people don't like their articles, but they have really good photos. Those you can see them in the house. They're going in and out of this back door. There's no way those bar stools are there. There's rumors that it was removed for testing. That's possible too. But the bar stools were not in that. The bar stools were not in that doorway as they're going in and out of it. And this is, I've always figured this is exactly where he would have gone in and out, most likely both, at least one, because they don't do any forensics at the front door or the door with the wreath. They only do them at this door. This is where all the forensics are.
Yeah, I could just envision him parking a certain way and creeping through the back and then going through that slider.
Right.
Ugh. That's just terrifying.
The dude's fucking creepy. Okay. I think we're getting closer to the end here. So let's
Almost done. Bear with us, folks.
I have to go back and like look at stuff and see things. So
I know.
Okay, so investigators found that the phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, but investigators do not believe the phone was in Moscow on that date.
So he was near Moscow, but he wasn't actually in Moscow. Is that what they're saying?
I wonder why. I wonder why they think that.
Yeah. Like, what would he be doing on the 14th?
Well, either the 13th or the 14th is the one that Chris McDonough said that he sees the white Elantra in the back of the news footage. It was either the 13th or the 14th that he sees the car up there. I don't know if it's the same car, obviously, but obviously the guy's familiar with that back neighborhood, so it's possible.
Yeah.
So I wonder why his phone is there, but they don't think he's there. All right, the phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. Based on my training and experience and the facts of the investigation thus far. Just make sure I'm actually sharing my screen with you guys. Okay, I am. Good deal. And I believe that Koberger, the user of the 8458 phone, was likely the driver of the white Elantra that is observed departing Pullman, Washington, and that this vehicle is likely suspect vehicle 1. Additionally, the route of travel of the 8458 phone during the early morning hours of November 13th and the lack of the 8458 phone reporting to AT&T between 2:47 a.m. and 4:48 a.m. is consistent with Koberger attempting to conceal his location during the quadruple homicide that occurred at the King Road residence.
Do you want me to take over and read?
What was that?
Do you want me to take over and read for you?
No, that's okay. I got it.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'll do it. I want to read it. This is another thing. Like I read it to myself. Somebody else read it to me. Now I have to read it out loud. I don't know. It's part of how it goes. I don't know what to tell you. It's just like, this is how I roll. I was like, yeah. You just make sure I keep sharing the screen.
You got it, girl. You are sharing. You got it.
I'm good. I'm on it. On December 23rd, 2022, I was granted a search warrant for Koberger's historical CSLI from June 23rd, 2022 to current. Prospective location information and a pen register trap and trace on the phone to aid in efforts to determine if Koberger stalked any of the victims in the case prior to the offense. Conducted surveillance on the King Road residence, was in contact with any of the victims' associates before or after the alleged offense. Any locations that may contain evidence of the murders that occurred on November 13th, the location of the white Elantra registered to Koberger as well as his location. On December 23rd, pursuant to the search warrant, I received historical records for the 8458 phone from the time the account was opened in June of 2022. After consulting with the CAS special agent, I was able to determine estimated locations for the phone from June 2022 to present, the time period authorized by the court. The records for the 8458 phone show that the phone utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to the area of 1122 King Road on at least 12 occasions prior to November 13th, 2022. All of these occasions, except for one, occurred in the late evening and early morning hours of their respective days.
So that would be the 9 o'clock when he went back to the house after the murders, when they say except for one occasion. So all other occasions, late evening and early morning hours, that he was lurking around that house.
Flipping creepy. Well, that's what people are like. They've asked, like, do I think that he did this before? And I don't know if he's done anything like this before, but I do think he's been a creeper. I do think he's been a peeper.
I do too.
It means that I am a heptic learner. You have to see, hear, and do something in order to process information for long-term storage. Probably. And I'm probably going to have to do them all again because there's just so much in this.
I will say, I didn't think we'd get this much. I thought this thing was only going to be a few pages long, and they're like, yeah, we had to take away like 4 pages.
I thought it was going to have a lot of black marks on it, like totally stuffed out. Yeah, I did not think we would get this much either. And it's weird, they do say that a lot of his activity was at night because his downstairs neighbor said that he was awake at odd hours. That he was like up vacuuming or doing stuff in the middle of the night.
Well, maybe he'd get home from like getting pulled over and just be like, you know what? I got pulled over at midnight. I'm just going to vacuum till 1, and then I'm going to drive around, make this weird horseshoe drive, do some donuts, go vacuum again. I mean, he seemed weird. Like, really weird.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Let's see. They did take away a lot from his apartment. Yeah, they did. That's what I was saying earlier. We kept hearing that his cell phone was following 2 of the victims, and according to this, that appears to be correct, but he was at the house 12 times prior.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, creepy. Creeper. Okay. 12 times occurred in the late evening and early hours. One of these occasions on August 21st, this is when he gets pulled over for his no seatbelt. August 21st, the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources providing coverage to the King Road residence from approximately 10:34 p.m. to 11:35 p.m. At approximately 11:37 p.m., Koberger was stopped by the county sheriff, Duke, as mentioned above. The phone was utilizing cellular resources consistent with the location of the traffic stop during this time, Farm Road and Pullman Highway. Further analysis of the cellular data provided showed the phone utilized cellular resources on November 13th, 2022, consistent with the phone traveling from Pullman, Washington to Lewiston, Idaho via U.S. Highway 195, I-90, I think that's supposed to be I-95 now. Yeah. At approximately 12:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that would provide coverage to Kate's Cup of Joe Coffee stand located at 810 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage from the U.S. Chef's store located at 820 Port Drive, Clarkston, Washington, and adjacent to Kate's Cup of Joe showed a white Elantra consistent with the vehicle drive past Kate's Cup of Joe at time consistent with the cellular data. Okay, so this is his activities of the 13th. So this is after. Afterwards, he's driving around getting a cup of Joe. At approximately 12:46 p.m., the phone then utilized cellular data in the area of the Albertsons grocery store in Clarkston, Washington. Surveillance footage obtained from the store showed Koberger exit the white Elantra consistent with the vehicle at approximately 12:49 p.m. Interior surveillance cameras showed Koberger walk through the store, purchase unknown items at the checkout, and leave at approximately 1:04 p.m. Koberger's possible path of travel is depicted below, not to scale. Okay. Additional analysis of the records for the phone indicated that between approximately 5:32 p.m. and 5:36 p.m., the 8458 phone utilized cellular resources that provide coverage to Johnson, Idaho. The phone then stops reporting to the network from approximately 5:36 to 8:30. This is consistent with the phone being the area that the phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time the homicides occurred. So this is basically what he did all day after this. On December 27th, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Koberger family residence located in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28th, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. Okay, hold on a second. On December 28th, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as not being excluded as the biological father of the suspect profile. So the DNA they found in the trash was the suspect's dad's. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Okay, so they took the dad's DNA from the trash can. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Brian C. Koberger, the burglar for burglary at 1122 King Street in Moscow, Idaho, and 4 counts of murder in the first degree for the murders of Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to the law of the state of Idaho that the following is foregoing as true and correct. Okay. So I'm very curious about all of the reports about genetic genealogy being used.
Yep. Because everybody kept saying they used like 23andMe and Ancestry and...
You cannot use 23andMe. I'm going to do a whole show on this because it's frustrating that all over social media people keep saying that 23andMe and Ancestry and those types of companies do not allow law enforcement access to their database.
Nope.
So anybody who says they sent it to 23andMe is wrong. They did not. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like this seems pretty lined out. They figured out who had the car. They put out the bolo for the car, which is interesting to me that they put that bolo out for the car to cops the end of November. By November, what was it, 28th, 29th? The Pullman Washington State University was already pulling info for their campus. That campus already locates a car, and December 7th is when it gets leaked to the media that there's a bolo, and it's for a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. They already actually knew who it belonged to.
Yep, they already knew. I'm telling you, Teresa, I could be wrong. I think they have a solid case. 100%. With or without that knife, I think that they have enough stuff to convict him. There is a lot. And we don't even know if they've gotten anything like biological DNA out of the car.
Oh yeah, we don't know. This is just up to arrest.
Yep.
So we don't know what they got from his
house.
parents' house, what they got from his apartment, what they got from his car, what they got on him when they examined his body. Can police get a warrant to use their database? No, they cannot.
God, could you imagine if they found the shoes? The vans just sitting in his
Oh yeah,
closet.
the vans.
Yeah.
They
And
find
there's,
those
like-
vans. He's done.
He's
This is
toast.
there
Yeah, I
could be. So, I mean, I'm not going to say that they didn't use genealogical DNA, but what I am saying is they didn't need to.
No.
They didn't need to. They did not use 23andMe to catch the Golden State Killer. They used a company called GEDmatch.
Which is like
And
through
GEDmatch
Paramount
does
Labs.
work with GEDmatch works with law enforcement.
Yeah.
23andMe does not work with law enforcement. Ancestry does not work with law enforcement. I have to cough. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. I agree, Steph 88. I do think that there's more than likely going to be more DNA recovered, especially if they find the shoes, they get anything from the car, his apartment. I fully believe that.
Whatever, my memory went bad. That's what happens when we have all kinds of kids.
That's what happens.
It is. The little suckers, they steal your memory. They steal your brain power. I swear I was much more intelligent before I had children. My capacity to remember things was like top notch then. Now I'm like, shit, I don't even know what I said 5 seconds ago.
Okay, so Ann Miller says, I'm a little late, but what are your thoughts about the one roommate seeing Brian in the house? I'm confused as to when she saw him. Why didn't she call?
That's a great question, Ann Miller. I don't have an answer. My thoughts on it are I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts on it, back and forth, on why she didn't call, and then I go to feeling bad for her because she's going to have to live with the fact that she didn't call. So, Brian, thank you so much.
Can I just say, with that situation with Dylan, I do feel that that's going to be a huge thing for the defense to go off of, is her credibility. If we do see a trial, which I have a huge feeling we're going to see a trial.
It may come down to, if they, as things start to progress, I mean, this is so early. If things start to progress and this is their probable cause, that they did not have to put all of this out there, but this officer did a great job lining this out.
Mm-hmm.
And putting it together for the arrest. I can't imagine all the evidence that they actually have, all the forensic evidence that they actually have. This is just enough. Like I said at the beginning, this is just enough for them to be able to arrest him and hold him, and to show that he is most likely the perpetrator, that he should be put in front of a judge. If they keep going, when they have like because they're going to have a shit ton of hearings. This is going to go on for a while. There's going to be a crap ton of hearings that they're going to have to do. The preliminary hearings, they're going to have to do his evidentiary hearings.
Mm-hmm.
As stuff starts to come out that they have more, it may not be a surprise if he does end up just taking a plea deal. It depends on what they keep coming out with. Right now, can he explain things away? I don't know. Maybe the defense could probably try to come up with some. So,
I mean, here's my thing. If let's just say, in a hypothetical stance, they pull the shoes in Pullman and in his apartment, they're sitting in a closet, like tucked away in the back in a shoebox. I could see him keeping his shoeboxes, right? And he puts the vans in a shoebox tucked away in his closet, and the police recover it. And they're like, oh, this is the same size of shoe, and there's blood on it. And guess what? There's 2 or 3, maybe even 4 of all the victims' blood on these shoes. Boom. How do you explain that away, Teresa? Oh, it's in your closet?
You know what? My friend John came over and he borrowed my shoes and my knife.
My gosh. That's like the stuff you hear on On Patrol, that show On Patrol Live, like Live, it used to be Live PD. When you hear, like, you pull someone over and they're like, oh, my friend asked me to watch these pants for her and there's heroin in the pants.
Oh God, yes.
I'm just borrowing these pants.
My friend came over, borrowed my car, my phone, and my
knife with the sheath
and my knife, borrowed my knife, my shoes, my car, my phone,
my identity.
You don't have me there. You don't have. So we'll cover this real quick too. And I know some of the news people were talking about this, that it's obviously a very circumstantial case, but they do have a witness who recognized his bushy eyebrows. Obviously, she's not going to be able to get 100% on him because he was supposedly wearing a mask, but Circumstantial evidence is DNA. People are always like, oh man, that case is circumstantial. It's never going to hold up in court. That direct evidence is your camera footage. It is your eyewitnesses. It is those types of things. That's direct evidence. Like somebody you can physically see it. If I can see it, then it's direct. Circumstantial evidence is all the other stuff. And basically what you have to do is infer that all that other stuff makes sense, that this is the person who did it. So now we'll go back to the shoes. If it was only the shoe print and they go into his house and they find a pair of shoes, that is circumstantial evidence. And I could say, hey, Sluice investigates, borrowed my shoes, and I just told her put them back in the closet. I never
In the box.
yeah, put them back in my shoe box. I never actually looked at them, but I know that she had them. You're going to get her DNA inside there. Now,
Exactly.
okay, you could totally explain that away, right? Okay, now take away the shoes, and now Dre comes over and she wants to borrow my knife because she's going to go out and do some whatever. And so I let her borrow my knife. Of course my DNA is going to be on there. It's my knife. I've used it, blah, blah, blah. Totally can explain that away. Or take away those two things. Dre comes over, borrows my car. Now she's going to drive around in my car. So it explains why my car is in all those places. Still her fault, right? She's the one that did it. I didn't do it. So circumstantial evidence is those pieces of things that you take and you put them together to infer that this is the person who committed the crime. So now, is it likely that Sluice comes over to my house, says, hey, can I borrow your car, your phone, your Vans shoes, and your knife? Is that likely? No, but here's where reasonable doubt would come in. If I, as a defense attorney, can convince the jury, that Sluice comes over to my house all the time and borrows my car, borrows my shoes, borrows my knife, and borrows my phone, that's reasonable doubt. Because now it is plausible that she possibly came over and borrowed all of my stuff. See what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, here's my thing. What if he tries to pin it on the roommate because they live together? Oh, my roommate's always taking my car and doing this and always using my phone.
I don't think he had a roommate.
I thought he did.
I think he had a 2-bedroom with no roommate.
Oh.
Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he had one. So I just want you guys to know, circumstantial evidence is just as strong or not stronger than direct evidence, because if you actually look at the history of eyewitness accounts, they get it wrong a lot. People get it wrong a lot. People are intoxicated. If she was intoxicated or under the influence of anything, she is going to be a very bad witness.
Very, very bad. Yeah. So he didn't have, I don't know why I thought he had one. See, I ain't even got kids in my brain so much sometimes.
No feet protection going into the house. So that was another weird thing. So he obviously did not, this whole box of booties that came out of his house that everybody's like, that box of booties was in his house. But I don't know if we ever saw them carry up an empty box. Like that would obviously be a box that forensic people would have. If it was empty, they could collect their evidence and put it in this box, right? I mean, it's obviously in their sealed envelope, so on and so forth. They put it in the box to carry all of it down. But I don't know if that booty box was actually his. And obviously we know he didn't wear booties, or the booties were very poorly made and they were thin, and they got they still were able to get the imprint of his shoe through them.
Yeah.
My answer to that, I have a 2-part answer. One, he didn't see her, because we do not know that they made eye contact. We just know she saw him. And if it was pitch black in there and he was done and he was leaving, his adrenaline was already so high. He wasn't paying attention to the little details, obviously, because he left his sheath behind. He didn't do his checklist. So he leaves his sheath behind and I think it's dark, and he probably doesn't see her. Oh, Brian, ignoring the chain of evidence red tape on the door.
When did she move in?
Who, Dylan?
Yeah.
August.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just thinking of him stalking the residence from June to November, and was thinking maybe he didn't know that there was other occupants in the house.
It doesn't say that he was there in June. It just says he got his phone in June.
I thought it said something about him being around that area from June to November 14th.
No, they just said they got the data from his phone from June until then, and that he was there 12 times prior. We can go back and look at it just to verify, but because my brain.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much, Steph B. I appreciate that.
Oh, that's sweet.
So I think that I wonder if Dylan and Bethany were. I doubt it. I do believe that there's going to be other DNA evidence. I do not think that's all they have. That's my opinion, though. And to finish answering the other question. So one, I think that he did not see her. And then two, my other one is that he purposely left her alive so that he could have the feeling like that where she knew she could have died and didn't.
Oh God,
Like
that's
where
horrible.
she owes him kind of thing. Oh yeah, they had to borrow the bushy eyebrows too. You got to take the bushy eyebrows. Sweet.
You got to borrow those bushy
Take a
and his
couple
height.
bushy-
Yeah, and his
and
like
his height. Yeah,
his
he
lack
has to
of
be the same
muscle
height.
tone. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's all considered circumstantial evidence. That's all, putting all of that together, you conclude that this is the person who committed this crime. So they're going to have, in my opinion, it is going to be very beneficial if they have his DNA, blood, saliva, anything like that physically inside of the home.
And I think you're onto something with saying that about the DNA, because he's probably thinking to himself when he was arrested in Pennsylvania, did you arrest anyone else? In theory, he could have said that because he knows criminology. He's done classes. He's got his, master's degree in it. Do you think that's probably why he said, did you arrest anyone else? Trying to throw off, put it out there that there could be possibly someone else. And then his defense could say, well, he came to us and said that there is this person.
Mm-hmm.
And yep.
That's what Gacy did.
Yeah, that's what he did.
He asked if they had arrested the others.
Mm-hmm.
Where was Bethany's room? She was on the first floor east side. Does all this information make it hard to find a juror? No, because most people think that you have to find a juror that doesn't know anything about the case. You don't. You have to actually find one that you believe can just be open to the ideas of both sides. So I can know about the case. I just can't have a biased opinion. So that was when I served on a jury. Well, I'll give you, this is not the same example, but when I served on a jury, they always say that people who have cops in their family are kicked off juries. My dad was a cop. My uncle's a cop. My uncle was a cop. My cousins are cops. But they just asked, does that give you a biased opinion? And I said, no, it doesn't. And they believe that. So they let me on the jury. You can know about the case. You just can't be biased. And they have to believe that you won't be biased. But that's the other thing. They'll have people in there that are reading every single juror in there. They're going to look at their faces. They're going to look at their actions. They're going to know their history. They're going to know things about them. They'll have their jury. What do you call them? What do you call them, Sluice?
Jury pool?
It's like a jury profiler.
Oh yeah, they're gonna that's somebody that goes in there and knows. And you have to. Did you have to do the questionnaire thing when you go in to do your jury duty?
Mm-hmm.
Every time because I've gotten pulled in Colorado probably. It was every other year I would get pulled, so probably about 9 or 10 times. It was crazy, and I'd have to put on. They'd ask you what's your favorite TV shows? What are your hobbies? And then they'd give you questions if you were to do something like this, would you feel a certain way? What is your idea of beyond a reasonable doubt? They've got kind of extensive.
They want to know what you know. Well, then they'll take all those questionnaires and they'll give them to those jury profiler people. I could see him trying to plant someone else's DNA at the scene. I could, if we didn't know all the dumb ass things that he's already done. I would think that somebody who's in criminology might try to do something like that. But this guy's an idiot. He thinks he's really smart, but he's really not. He's not intelligent. Not intelligent in this way. He's book smart, academic wise.
Yeah, he's very.
He's not a criminal mind. I know guys in LA that could have done a better job than this guy. Not that I know them, but I'm just saying that's they have street smarts. The Jason dude got arrested the same morning. Yeah, I don't think he has an accomplice. I know people do, and I'm totally okay with having a difference of opinion. I just don't. How did he not get blood in his car? We don't know that he didn't. We don't have the results from the car yet. This is everything leading up to him being arrested. So they got the search warrants in Pennsylvania for him, which is his body, to take pictures of his body, all that stuff, for the car and for his parents' house. And then they got at least 2 out in Washington for his office and his home. So we know that when he was arrested, they executed 5 search warrants, that information they found is not included in this probable cause affidavit.
I'm curious what the if we get one, what the prelim will result in. Because in the preliminary hearing, the state has to prove, right, like why they feel this should go to a trial in front of the judge. I can't imagine what comes out in the prelim.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be intense.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they're going to let us watch any of this. I mean, they let us watch it today, but they let us. That was the dumb thing Idaho did too, is they let us watch all the Valo Daybell stuff, and then they took the cameras away for the actual trial.
Yeah, they shut it off. They're like, all right, lights out.
I would have rather done it the other way.
Yeah.
Hi, Seth. Hi, Scottish Queen.
Okay, so there's a person on Twitter called her name is Millie. She did a map with the suspect's vehicle. I'm going to send this to you, T, because this is actually pretty interesting.
You're supposed to glove up prior to touching the door. Yes. Did you see somebody not gloved up? Let me see. Hi, Valerie. Xana got Jack in the Box from DoorDash. I think it's the Jack in the Box too. Yeah, I think True Crime Crazy. That's what I think. I think that he wanted all the glory for himself. This was like a project to him, in my opinion. That he worked on this.
He did.
He wanted to see. I don't even know if it was really about the reactions of the people that he did this to. He wanted to see the reactions of people around, the behaviors of people around, the behaviors of the families, the behavior of other students, the behavior of his students in his classes. What did this cause people to do? He liked that part of it. And I think this was like his project.
I do too.
I don't necessarily know if he snapped. I don't think there was a snap. I think this is what he wanted to do. Jeff, what did Kaylee get delivered after 4 a.m.? I don't know if Kaylee got anything. I only heard Xana. Xana got DoorDash delivered at like 4 a.m.
And they were able to verify that the driver was obviously not Brian. They talked to the delivery driver, correct? That's what it said in the affidavit?
Yeah. They talked to the delivery driver. I think the delivery driver came forward because they said when they talked to him.
Yeah.
As I call him, Ted Bundy 2.0 tried and failed to see if he could do the perfect murder. Okay, so then thank you, Jaded. Thank you for becoming a member. Pizza was days before. There was pizza boxes in the trash out back. I don't know. We don't know when they were from, but okay. Let's see. Did you send me that pic?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick.
Okay. Boo shaboo. Well, he gets an F.
Well, I mean, to think they were onto him by what I say, November 28th, 29th. What was it?
I think it's 29th.
Yeah, right there. I mean, still crazy. They were on him.
Ugh.
They just weren't. They didn't have enough. They weren't sure.
Yeah,
they
and they
knew all the
knew.
pieces together.
And they knew they had to make sure they have the right amount of stuff to bring to a DA. And think about it. They have the DNA they're going to have to try to match. But how do you match it to someone you don't have in CODIS until they figured out the car and it belonging to him?
All right, let's see what she did here.
Now, this is from somebody on Twitter named Millie.
Thanks, Millie.
Thank Millie. Thank you.
Hey, Millie. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's see what she did. So 329, initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residents, and then leave via Willenta Drive. Okay, we kind of looked at that. Oh, wait, I'm on the wrong one. I got to go to 1. Let's go to 1. Westbound in the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow, at approximately 3:26. So she's over here. Okay, we looked at that. Number 2, he's westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28. This is when he would pass over by the A&W. Right here. Okay, so that's 2. Then 3, 3:29 a.m. Initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Willenta Drive. Okay, there we go. And then 4, entered the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. driving eastbound on King Road, stopping and turning around in front of the 500 Queen Road number 52, and then driving back westbound on King Road. Okay, so we went through that. That's where he goes around and he's changing directions, and then he goes back over here and does a 3-point turn. Okay, 5, seen departing the area of the King Road residence at approximately 4:20 a.m. at a high rate of speed. Next observed traveling southbound on Willenta Drive. Okay, we went through that. That's when he goes back up into here to go down to Conestoga. Okay, 2:53 observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman, Washington towards the 270. 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. She's got a good little visual.
She does. That helped me to kind of see his path. Like,
Thanks,
which
Millie.
path did he take? Thanks, Millie Moo.
Oh, goodness gracious. We went through so much.
And I checked the okay, because it's not on as of right now, I can't find his record on Pacer, but it is on the mycourts.idaho.gov.
Okay.
I cannot find his next hearing. Does anyone know when that is?
Oh, interesting.
Because it's not on here.
They didn't actually talk about it either.
I remember, well, let me check to see if Brian Itton had anything, because I remember him saying something about he has another court hearing, but I don't know when it is, and I'm trying to figure that out. Okay, let's see. Brian Itton.
There was a lot of talk about this unconscious, the call from the unconscious. A lot of the people who like do like 911 or like EMTs, like dispatchers and stuff like that, they said that unconscious is not actually uncommon. But my thought was like the reaction of the chief when he's like, yeah, I don't know why they said that. Like, why did they say unconscious? It didn't make a, but I'm wondering if she saw Xana, because it sounds to me like Xana was right there on the floor at her room. We all thought she saw Ethan, but maybe she saw, or not she saw, but the roommate saw. I'm thinking she saw Xana. January 12th at 10 a.m.
Thank you, guys. Okay. Because, yeah, it's not on the Idaho courts thing. The last thing they have is, let me see. I have to use Chrome for it because it does not like Safari. The last thing they have, where did it go?
Thank you, everybody, for answering that.
Was January 5th, which is today. So I'm like, well, dang it. When is it? When is it? So, yeah, he's being no bond. I did see that. He's being held without bond for now. And that, yeah, now it says next hearing is in 1 week, according to Brian Itton.
Very interesting.
So did his parents didn't come out here, did they? Or come out there to Idaho?
No, they didn't come out for this hearing. Not that I heard. I'm sure that would have been everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Scottish Queen, I think that a lot of us are really confused by that. I'm confused with the roommate waiting from then until midday to call for help. I know.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get more information. I don't want to overly scrutinize her. I mean, I do have like, holy crap, what the heck happened? But like I've said a couple times already this live, like I do have a lot of compassion for her because she's going to have a long life having to live with the consequences of what she did and what she didn't do. And I don't wish that on anybody. So they did say it at the end of court today, January 12th, 10 a.m. Okay, I missed it.
I've missed that whole video. I was all over the affidavit. I'm not going to lie.
That's right.
I was all over that thing.
Let's see. All right, you guys have anything else that you want us to take a look at before I hop off? I've been on almost 4 hours, so
Dang, girl.
that's past my cap. I like 2 hours is really where I like to go. I didn't even think that we'd be doing it that long, but I appreciate all of you guys. And like I said, I know that this has kind of been all over all morning, and we're kind of going over it, for some of us the 3rd, 4th, 8th, 12th time. But it's always good to just absorb that information and see what comes up.
Yes.
The only thing I heard from any of the parents was the attorney for the Gonsalveses. Did you guys see anything else besides that? Oh, thank you, Brian. I appreciate it. I think she was in a stupor, denial, shock. Yeah, I think so too. But thank you guys for coming and listening and giving your input and your feedback. Thank you, Wrenches, for helping and being here. Dre, I can't even thank you enough for everything you do.
Yeah.
My sleuther.
As always, I'm here to dig. What up? What up?
So I'm sure that this won't be the last thing we hear today on this. I don't know if CDT's already live. No, she might already be live. Let me look. I know she had a live, but I don't know.
I know she had one scheduled.
Yep. So CDT is actually live right now. If one of the Wrenches could drop CDT's link, you can head over there. She's talking about this too. She has her own insights, which is awesome. And then I know Valerie Knox is going to be going later tonight on her channel, and I think Britt might be going on hers, but I don't know. She was kind of under the weather and tired. So I missed the info of what door he came in and out of the slider is what they've said. All right. Well, once again, thank you guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for hanging out and listening to me and paying attention to a screen that I didn't share anything on. Oh my goodness gracious. Colorado
it's been a day.
Can you just say again when you think Ellie figured out Brian was their man? I believe it was. I believe they figured it out when they, okay, I guess that's kind of, they had a intuition that it was him when they figured out that he was the one with the white Elantra, which was November.
29th?
I think it was the 29th, but I don't want to misquote the date. So let me see. Yeah, on November 29th is when they located the white Elantra and they started to put the pieces together of him. So they started pulling information on him. They started pulling information on the tickets that he had received, the times he had been pulled over. They started they got his phone number from that information. They started requesting search warrants about that and getting more information. They did not actually have a 100% tie to it being him until, I believe they said, let me go back over again 1 second, to December 23rd when they were able to obtain the information from the trash can that confirmed that the DNA from the trash can was a paternal match to the suspect. And I want to say that was the 23rd, but I don't want to misquote, so I'm just going to double check the date. December 27th. They recovered the trash from the family residence in Pennsylvania, and on the 28th, the lab reported the DNA profile obtained from the trash. So thinking from the 29th to December 28th, they already knew that he was their guy. They weren't really looking at anybody else, but they were concrete as of December 28th. Mm-hmm. Got the warrant for his arrest, got it approved to have a SWAT team and to go in at 3 a.m. You can't just go into a house at 3 a.m. There's legal times that you're allowed to serve warrants, and you have to go in front of a judge and have it approved to do anything outside of those hours. So he was obviously a very big risk. So they got the SWAT team involved, busted in all the windows, all the doors, probably simultaneously, went in and got him. So November 29th, they figured out he was the one who owned the car. By December 28th, they had proof that the DNA they obtained was his father's, was the father to the suspect, and they got him. So it took them not even a month once they had him in their sights. But it shows you a very decent timeline of a police department that is actually working very diligently, and it still took that amount of time, and they were on top of it. So when we have other cases going forward and there's not an arrest within the first 2 days, we have to give them the chance to go through these avenues and get what they need.
Exactly. I will say, and I'll be honest, amnesty hour, I started losing faith after the first week. I did. I'll be honest.
Everybody does. It's very common because we need that closure.
Yeah. I kept thinking to myself, we're in 2022, surveillance, trackers on, your vehicles like GPS, cell phones.
Right.
all that stuff, digital evidence. So it was like, I started losing a little bit of integrity in the investigation. Even like by week 3, I'm like, oh dear, this is never getting solved. And then it's like, I recant that, and I am sorry, Chief Fry. So,
Well, I think that there's so much misinformation and so many different things going out there. It made it seem like they didn't really have their heads on straight.
no.
So they did it though. They did it. The FBI, the marshals, the Moscow Police Department, they did it. They did it.
They did a great job.
So, all right, you guys, thank you again, and we will see you on the next one.